you dumb, beautiful fucker.
Who wants to be in America's slash fit with Abraham Lincoln?
Louisiana Purchase, that's a name.
You need to really get off my balls, okay? I'm gonna kick your ass.
Also, why was Michelangelo so stinky? Ew.
Jonathan, look at me. Look at me in my eyes.
I pissed 150 miles per hour.
Are we recording right now? Yeah. I knew we were recording.
I peed so fucking hard.
With that being said,
hello everyone. Welcome to a special emergency broadcast edition of All You Can Hear podcast.
Is it just All You Can Hear podcast?
All You Can Hear podcast, caging greatness, the late takes. All the powers combined to discuss something very special and important. We're getting the whole gang together to discuss AEW's preeminent pay-per-view special, All Out 2021.
Yes! Yes!
And we would like to preface this by saying this was not planned at all. Our dear friend Tanner over here...
I don't like how it's being put on me.
He doesn't like how it's being put on him, even though this was literally your idea, Tanner.
Yeah.
So don't fucking try to talk your way out of it.
Take credit.
Accept your fate, sir.
I just want to say...
He is bowing for all of you because this is not a video podcast.
Yeah, I'll give Tanner their flowers.
Yeah, throw them out. The streamers are out. They're just floating everywhere now.
We're all very hydrated on water.
Very hydrated on water.
Yeah,
right?
And by that, we mean vodka.
Yeah, no. What were you gonna say, Cole?
I was gonna say that Cannon and Tanner did beg us to do this.
Yeah, it was kind of both of them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Cannon was in on it more than I was.
We're actually holding both of these guys at gunpoint.
I was already into it whenever Tanner first suggested
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Tanner's idea was bad for once. I'm saying he finally had a good idea for once.
Fucking finally!
Fucking wait till we fight on the podcast. Fist fight.
Oh no! Don't worry. Since this was also your idea, I did mention earlier you had another take about wrestling that I still can't believe we didn't bring up on the episode that hasn't
came out yet.
Well, no, it'll be.
It goes out on Thursday.
The week of this release.
When is this one coming out?
Ideally tomorrow.
I don't think that's going to happen. Realistically,
nobody fleshed that out.
We'll figure this out later.
We'll figure all the nitty gritty out. All I'm saying is there is one take that you put out in the world that we did not bring up on the show that may or may not have come out before or after this one. I don't know, but to be continued. Anyway, do we need to introduce everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't we go around the horn to make everybody know who's here, who's joining us for this cross-cultural Battle of the Brands reunion special. Of course, this is Patrick. I'll be present and discussing things that happened during this pay-per-view. And to my left, we have...
Oh, sorry.
Hey, the coughing's my bit.
I just love how not only will this be a drunk cast, it'll be like a zoot cast, it's just basically a cross-faded cast.
I like to say I'm not zooted. Just want to put that out there.
Every substance that has been partaken in has been legally purchased within the state of Alabama. I will just throw that out there. That's very true. Anyway, I am that Cannon guy. Justin's going to hate me for this. The most prolific guest in AYCH history. And also one of the co-hosts of the Caging Greatness podcast. And I am so pumped to be doing this right now.
This will also make all of you tied for the most prolific guest host in Late Takes history.
Yeah!
Actually, no, it won't. This will be Patrick's third episode. Patrick will be ahead.
High five. Top.
Patrick's basically me and Wenzel, so we're with Patrick. So
Yeah. What?
You want to intro yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm Wenzel.
I'm Jonathan, and I'm really zooted.
I am very much sober, by the
What, are
way.
you zooted?
What Jonathan?
Are you Kazooie?
What Jonathan meant to say was, they're all elite right now.
Yeah.
I am Colt, and I will say there was one point during this event where everybody got super excited. I'm not going to say what happened.
Don't go there yet.
I'm not gonna. But the house almost fell down. That's all I'm
You're
going to say.
not wrong.
I think the house almost fell down at least 2 or 3 times.
I'm Tanner. I hurt my back 2 times during the show. I'm not drunk. I'm not zooted.
That's a lie.
Tanner is lying.
He is definitely
I
drunk.
would say it's half a lie. He's really drunk.
He's really drunk.
The
Yeah.
lie detectors determined that is a lie.
Let's play a game. One truth and a lie. I'm not drunk and I'm not high.
Hell, I'm still drinking right now.
I'm
Oh,
not.
yeah.
There's a Dr. Pepper in front of me. I don't know who. Oh, it's an empty can. So
Tanner, you just drank the Dr. Pepper.
I did not
You
drink.
drank that whole Dr. Pepper in front of us. We were here for that.
There's
What is
0
wrong with
carbs in a diet Dr.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it's a diet
That's why
Dr.
it's the
Pepper.
diet. Yeah.
Well, there's 60 milligrams of sodium in it.
Yeah. It's
Well,
diet. It's diet.
I can't tell who drank it.
It doesn't matter because it's 0 calories no matter
I
what.
can't. It doesn't matter, Winslow. If you're drinking a bunch of sodium, you're going to hold your piss in
Look,
and hold your water weight,
if
brother.
anything, that the show preacher
That's
told me that God himself created Diet Dr. Pepper, and so it's okay.
That's what water looked like.
Actual God.
Early water looked like
Spoilers
I'm
for
just gonna say,
the
I
preacher
peed a-
if you haven't seen it. You know,
I peed a lot
Nothing
during
like
All
different
Out,
food.
and my pee was clear. It was clear the whole show.
Tanner, the reason why it was clear because it was just the vodka you were drinking pissed you back
That
out.
is true because I'm doing keto right now,
This-
so I could drink nothing with carbs in it.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I accidentally turned my mic off. I'm sorry. Am I on right now? I'm still going.
I can edit this out.
All right, no, I'm still here. I'm
No,
still here. We're
edit
good.
nothing
No,
out.
we're good. Anyway, all I
Amy
want to
is
say is
speaking.
Tanner was literally in our kitchen tonight, looking up the fucking like carbs that are in liquors.
My cheat day is not till Friday.
this Friday.
You were
This Friday.
You were looking for the carbs.
I'm getting married in 2 months. I have to fit into my suit
What
or I
the-
will be killed.
Do you not fit into your suit yet?
No, I do because they just measured me. So
Well,
actually, I'm going to be too small for
I've-
my suit because I've already lost 15 pounds.
Well, you know
So-
what? What you just said makes no fucking sense. Then
I want to be small. I want to.
Well, no,
look
because
good.
he can. I mean, there is a
you
possibility.
already look good. You're wearing a goddamn Rodzilla shirt.
No, I get what you're saying. There is a possibility you could gain like whatever weight or however often, then not fit in your suit, and that would suck.
Exactly. Like if I ate like I would have been eating like the whole spring and summer, like I would be too big for my suit when wedding season came. So I have to be on a diet. So I have to go in at a deficit. So after the wedding, I can go into Thanksgiving and Christmas, go whole hog, and just eat everything I want and just go crazy. I want to eat so many carbs. I want to eat a whole loaf of Wonder Bread.
That's not.
That sounds
That sounds
bad.
terrible.
That
Actually,
sounds terrible. Wonder Bread is awful.
I know.
now, if you were to say, I mean, you know, like at least eat a whole loaf of, let's say, like some good like honey
King's
wheat
Hawaiian
bread.
bowl rolls.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that would be good.
And-
Should I do a spin-a-rooney on the podcast?
You know,
I
anybody.
mean, nobody will see it because this is audio only. But
Oh,
no,
God,
my
he's doing
God.
Oh my
As
god.
We don't even have any. Wait, we have cardboard boxes in the garage so
You're
you
about
can
to
actually
hurt
do
yourself.
it. Oh, Tanner is
Tanner, you're gonna
rolling
hurt
around on our
yourself.
basement floor right now.
as
That was not a spinneroonie. I'm not
That was
going to
just
lie to
rolling
our
on
audience,
the floor.
Tanner. I'm not going to. I'm
I-
That
sorry.
was pretty close.
I have to say, I do not, in fact, dig that sucker.
I gotta.
Goddamn.
Should
I don't mean to be rude, but we gotta.
No, I was thinking
I
the
wanna-
same thing.
I wa-
So AEW.
Yo, it's
All Out.
11:30.
I want to say
That's
something
fine.
quick though. Public service announcement: Don't eat white bread. It's bleached. It's disgusting.
I like
It's awful.
bleach.
I have tried. There's a Aldi brand keto buttered bread that's like 0 carbs. That's amazing. Like even if I wasn't doing keto, I would eat that bread because it tastes just like regular white bread.
Oh wow.
I will say the bread is very apropos because there is a wrestler that's all about the bread, but we'll get to them shortly.
Should I hit a Koji cutter on Colt right now?
Please don't.
Yes.
I am already hurt.
And also, I do want to point out the fact that many podcasts have been recorded in this basement, but I feel that it is important to announce that we are currently surrounded by several AEW action figures right now.
Oh, that's true.
These fuckers are hard to get, and when I see them, I have to snag them up. So,
I also have an Orange Cassidy.
yeah, mine's right over there, but next to Colt. He's guarding Colt right now.
Yeah, we got a Jericho, we got a Cassidy, we got Santana, Ortiz, Pac, Darby,
Phoenix,
Matt Hardy,
Matt Hardy,
and
Thanos,
Thanos.
Luke Skywalker,
Ant-Man,
Booster Gold,
Lady Thor,
Ghost
Flareon,
Rider,
Bat Cycle,
Jolteon,
And-
Vaporeon,
Preacher,
and Vegeta wearing a pink button-down shirt.
All right, the
Doc
point
Brown.
we're trying to make is tonight was AEW All Out, and Jesus fucking Christ, was it a fantastic experience?
It was a great event. After it ended, I will say everyone here scared me because like that's the best it's gonna ever be, and it will never be any good ever again.
We will get to that, and I'm so ready for that payoff right there. I want you to be the one that's like, oh my God, I thought blank was gonna blank and blank it blank.
Yeah, I want you to just say blank 4 times.
Okay,
this whole
I can do
podcast is going
that.
to be redacted for government
All right,
purposes.
but before we get into the proverbial nitty gritty, can we talk about how fucking hard it was to get the actual pay per view started today?
Hold on.
Jesus fucking Christ!
We're about to shoot fucking hard on Bleacher
Straight fucking shooting with all of us, pew pew, TM, motherfuckers.
because I originally bought the pay-per-view on Bleacher Report because first of all they did away Bleacher Report Live, which is how we usually streamed it.
Yeah,
so
successfully.
I made a new account on Bleacher Report, bought the pay-per-view, $50 whole of my life was on that, and then guess what? You can't cast it unless you have a laptop that has the Bleacher Report thing pulled
I
up.
imagine you would have to have a TV that had a Chromecast or a Chromecast built in, and you.
But
would have
we
to
do.
They have a Roku.
We
But that's not Chrome.
But
no, we don't have a Roku. We have a Chromecast.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the TV, because you can stream from very specific devices, because I was using Apple products. But you can only use, like, Roku and, like, Xbox. But the thing is, our main family room TV is not Roku, and we don't have a Roku stick. So it was just a lot of painful bullshit, and it was a completely asinine how to figure out how to stream from the PlayStation 4. Very unintuitive.
Oh God, it was like hidden behind menus, behind menus, behind menus.
And also, I had no idea you could just like straight up rent a wrestling pay per view from the PlayStation Store.
yeah, with
Like that was the first time I'd ever seen an ad for an AEW event on the PlayStation.
Same thing
Store.
here,
Yeah.
and I'm on PlayStation constantly.
I didn't know you could order live events on Play. I mean, I had heard that you could do UFC pay-per-views. I just thought UFC had a specific deal with PlayStation.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like a pay-per-view provider.
Yeah, same. Because you made a correct earlier today. You were just like, you know what, all right, we have to subscribe to a specific cable service just to rent the specific pay-per-view tonight on that cable service.
And almost did.
I mean, we weren't far from it.
We technically bought the pay-per-view
twice.
twice.
Technically, we bought Tony Khan. We bought this shit twice tonight. Okay,
You're
like
welcome.
dead fucking ass.
Because Patrick, have you received a refund yet?
No, I'm still waiting for that callback from the Bleacher Report helpline.
Patrick's not getting
Which
it.
Twitter account is going to send Tony Khan the message? Is it the Cajun Greatness or the
You know what?
AYCH?
I say we hit it with the triple threat.
all
Big
three
Tony.
fucking podcasts be like, so we
But-
bought it twice and we couldn't cast
But
it.
the thing is, Patrick is not like a late takes person, so it has to be like Cajun Greatness.
He's
and-
been on your show 3 fucking times.
2 times. Not
You said
counting
3 a
this.
minute
Not
ago.
counting
Are you not
this.
willing to fight for your friends, Tanner?
God.
wow.
What the
Damn,
fuck?
take his shirt off.
Take it off.
I'm not.
Tanner's been wanting to take his shirt off all fucking night.
I've been saying I'm going to pop my top for about 3 hours.
Hey, man, the night is young.
And he
It's not.
It's
thing
very
is-
It's
young,
actually quite old.
Well, the show is young. Like,
actually, the night is young. It's only 11:36.
Yeah,
That's not a young night.
That's a young night.
that's pretty young.
It's pretty young.
I'm an old man now. I'm up
Shut
3
the
hours
fuck-
past my
As
bedtime.
the oldest one here, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, I'm
I want to do Spinneroonie.
me.
I saw your spinneroonie earlier.
You kind of just wallowed on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that.
But you know what? I am willing to sacrifice my sleeps before tomorrow's fucking shift to have a fantastic time, extended fantastic time with y'all tonight. So I am gung fucking ho.
Because not only was it, this is one of AEW's most anticipated pay-per-views,
Oh yeah.
we also had 2
God
very
bless you.
special guests with us. We had
Malachi,
Colin
bless
Hensel,
you.
who, while not only experiencing wrestling here and there, they're able to join us for the entirety of the pay-per-view. So you're having just fresh, new eyes to the product. And Tanner was there too.
I have watched wrestling here longer than anybody besides Cannon.
I was about to say, don't you fucking dare.
I've been watching wrestling for 14
Don't you
years.
try to gatekeep wrestling from my
I'm not
ass,
gatekeeping.
okay?
I'm just saying. brother.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's
Brother me softly.
brother me so.
Abaddon?
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 Oh, she was there too, and it was great.
She was there at the
For,
match.
for like 5
Yeah,
seconds.
She was
cool.
there longer.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get
25
there.
seconds.
We'll fucking get
there.
there. We'll get there. So
I feel like I'm looking real yoked right now.
AEW All Out. We're obviously going match by match,
Yeah,
Let's
we're-
go.
we're
Let's
gonna
start.
do it down
including
to
the pre-show. We got to go with the
Sure,
pre-show,
go
right?
pre-show. Because I have them all written down.
All
So
right.
the pre-show was, the buy-in was happened before the main event proper, which is free to watch for everybody.
Yeah.
You had it was a 10-man tag match. On one side, you had Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor.
Wait. Oh God,
Let's
Jonathan's
pause.
mic still broke.
their
Y'all are getting too rowdy
No,
over
no, no,
there.
no.
Jonathan's mic popped out.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is a thing on the AYCH side of things, but at least on every other, or at least every couple of other times we're recording, Jonathan's mic stand just like implodes all of a sudden.
I can say for 1,000% fact, the late takes has never had a technical problem.
Yeah, for like
don't
the
know about
whole
that.
like 10 episodes.
Where have
Oh my God! I literally helped come up with the all-you-can-hear name. I've been in podcasting a long time, brother.
I'm just saying that show.
How many of episodes of your show have been recorded here?
Have been recorded here.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was, episode 2 was, and the cage takes was, so 3.
How many episodes do you have? I'm just curious at this point. I'm
nine.
sorry I haven't listened yet. I plan on it. I'm
As
planning
of
on it.
Monday,
No,
September 6th, probably.
So you're saying a third of your show?
How many have been recorded? Like 9 or 10.
I'm excited to listen to them.
You should be.
I'm
You should
ready.
listen to them all tomorrow and be like, man, that Tanner is a funny dude.
Yeah, Tanner's a grizzled young vet.
Trying to get that
I mean,
AdSense
you
kicked
have made
in.
me chuckle a few times, but
Yeah.
tonight I plan on making you cry.
Tanner's going to kick me in the nuts on this podcast.
Yeah,
Please!
Tanner's gonna break your back and make you humble.
Let's just get to the fucking show. We've been bouncing on the first one for so fucking long. Let's get to
Oh
it.
God!
We've been going for 16 fucking minutes. Let's go.
You
is
act
the
like
Taco
that's a
Bell
long
episode.
time.
This is the Taco Bell episode where y'all didn't eat anything for 25 minutes.
Around like the 30-minute mark, Tanner's going to be asleep, so we got to make sure we can do
going to
this.
fall asleep before we get to the main event.
Look, at least on the Cajun greatness side of things, we know how to chew up some fucking scenery. Wake up! It's feeding time.
Feed me more.
Not a sponsor. Ryback's Food Challenge YouTube channel. I
Ryback's
guess.
quiet. But the pre-show match.
The pre-show match, yes.
The 10-man tag. It was Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus versus Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Queen, Angelico, and Jack Evans.
Yeah.
Which, for that being like an impromptu buy-in match, was really fucking good.
And it originally wasn't supposed to be on the buy-in, actually.
Wasn't on
it?
there till Pac and Andrade got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was what,
And-
like a
and-
couple of days ago?
Literally on Dynamite on
No,
Wednesday.
and,
I
and I'm
think.
sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but were they trying to book Andrade and Pac for the buy-in?
No, Andrade Pac was going to be on the main show in the Casino Battle Royal
Yeah.
where. We'll talk about it later. But
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
originally going to be on the buy-in, but Pac and Andrade was going to be on the main show.
Okay, I was just making sure because, I mean, no disrespect to anything that's on the pre-show match. I mean, obviously. But also I feel like that wouldn't need to be a pre-show match. It would need to be on the actual card. But, it didn't happen, so it's fine.
A big multi-person match like what we got, or even the Casino Battle Royal, if it had been on the pre-show, is what you want on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Because you want to show as much variety as possible, because even Tony Khan has said the whole point of the buy-in is to get people to buy into the fact that they need to buy the pay-per-view
Yeah.
or order the pay-per-view and watch the pay-per-view. So, like, it makes total sense. Like,
That's why you show like the
Oh, yeah.
widest variety of your characters on the show.
Yeah.
'Cause you have like literally the laziest wrestler in the world, like the Kentucky Gentleman,
Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy. Like all these high flyers. You have a boyfriend jungle and a lucha dinosaur. So like, just seeing that variety of people, somebody like, what the fuck? I have to see this. And this was a really fun match.
Yeah, it was a really entertaining match. Yeah, it was a really fun opener to what was a fantastic show.
I'm really glad Jurassic Express ended up getting on the card in some capacity because I really thought they were going to win the tag tournament and get the steel cage match with the Bucks.
You know what? Same.
That's what
it felt like it should have been them, right?
Yeah.
When they lost to the Lucha Brothers, I was really fucking surprised.
Yeah, I was, and that match on Rampage was fantastic.
It was great,
It was just really surprising because it really seemed like it was setting up for Jurassic Express to finally get the win over the Bucks. So I was really glad that Jurassic Express did get on the pay-per-view in some capacity, and like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus got to like show out a bunch in that match. So I'm glad for that, but also like Orange Cassidy I think is AEW's maybe most interesting character. So the fact that this was, I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is the most viewed non-WWE pay-per-view in North America since probably 99, I would guess, 98, 99.
Oh wow.
I'm just guessing, but that's going to be my...
That's going to be a lot of researching and numbers.
That's going to be my...
I mean,
that's my chef kiss guess of the night.
You got two new people here watching it, so there's two new fresh eyes.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, and I do want to bring this up, like, you brought up Rampage that was on Friday. Colton Wenzel were here for that, and that was correct me if I'm wrong, that was your first taste of AEW, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but what'd y'all think? Y'all had a good time, right?
Oh, hell yeah. It was good enough time to make me want to come back and experience this.
Literally, their only taste of pro wrestling, correct me if I'm wrong, prior to that had been Kota Ibushi matches against sex dolls and Texas Backyard Wrestling, ESW.
And those still rule.
Yeah, no, they're really good. ESW, bro. Oh, man, have you not
seen
it?
My
It's like
God.
a death match trampoline fed.
Oh, shit, what was his name?
So good.
I mean, I had Backyard Wrestling VHS.
Are you talking about Austin G?
Austin G!
If we're going to go...
Well, was that the guy who got killed in the...
No.
I had no idea I was going to have to get into a Backyard Wrestling Federation dick measuring contest with Tanner tonight.
That's right.
Well, let me tell you
I'll
something,
talk about
brother.
Indiana Championship Wrestling all day.
I had the OG original Backyard Wrestling's Volume 1, 2, and 3 on VHS, brother. Now, VHS was a thing that came out before.
I'm aware of the VHS.
Blu-ray
I'm almost
and
26.
DVD. I was just making sure. I was
born in 95. I had the orange Nickelodeon tapes.
As the oldest one here, I have to make sure,
Not cold public.
I see you. You want to make the joke.
What joke? No.
You know.
You see, you thought of it. I wasn't even going to bring it up. You brought the bit back.
Just going to say, we're still on the pre-show match.
We are still on the pre-show match, yes. But anyway, man, I did want to say, like, this will be my only platform to complain. I mean, not necessarily complain, but to chime my 2 cents in. Because Matt Hardy has, I believe, I'm paraphrasing, gone on record saying that it was time to change the broken gimmick up, like to just stop doing it. Now, I personally thought that was poor judgment on his part because he is still literally doing the delete taunts in his own matches. Now that full crowds are back, I feel like what he should have said was the broken gimmick is not working when there's nobody to chant delete with me. So, that being said, I really hate the fucking Hardy family organization, whatever the fuck that's happening.
Yeah, out of all the stables, it like the
and AEW
HFO
loves their stables. They love their big fucking group factions and whatnot.
That they do. But like outside of literally the factory, which is literally a joke.
Yeah.
Like I'm just and like I liked Private Party before they got with Matt Hardy, and now they're just kind of backseat to that.
You know what? You're not wrong. I have
and the Mountain Dew guys I can carry.
Are you calling TH2 Mountain Dew guys?
Yes,
Jack
that is our
Anderson
code
and
name
Helico?
for those guys.
Mountain
yes,
Dew
actually.
guys.
Yeah, the Mountain Dew guys.
But it's TH2, yes. I was like, because I just like they're the Mountain Dew guys because they look like bottles of Mountain Dew.
Wait, they're TH2, and there's like another team called the Hybrid 2.
They are the hybrid 2.
Are these weed references?
No.
Yes, TH2 is a direct weed reference.
Who? What's
makes
the
sense 'cause
actual
they're
team?
green.
They're
What-
green and also huge potheads.
What is the actual team name of the Mountain Dew guys?
The Hybrid 2.
All right. What is the
TH2.
name of the new guys that are wearing the Nasty Boy vests?
Nasty Boy vest.
Yes.
2.0?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the name.
Well, I wasn't
Different
wrong
teams,
then. Never mind.
Cannon.
Two
different
way
teams.
different. One team's Canadian, the other team is not.
Yeah, and one of them emulates the Nasty Boys for some ungodly reason, even though the long-haired fella is pretty entertaining.
I don't know if 2.0 is really emulating the
Look at
Nasty
those
Boys.
vests.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry, you weren't watching wrestling back then. Never mind. You wouldn't
I know who
these
the
guys
Nasty
are.
Boys are.
Do
Thank
you?
very much. Yeah, they
Do
wrestled
you?
on Impact in like 20.
Yeah, you're probably best friends on fucking MySpace Messenger. Get the fuck out of my face.
fucking Brian Hobbs.
God damn.
Anyway, the pre-show match was pretty fun, actually.
Pretty good. The Luchasaurus
Tanner's gone to sleep.
was a massive man, and I just loved the way he threw those tiny men around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
He literally like picked them up like toddlers and threw them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty great.
I mean, and Luchasaurus, for, no one who knows, is a giant dinosaur man, and who is fantastic. Who moves around like he's a luchador.
Yeah, like he's really like limber for a man of his size.
I know, like standing on the mat, shooting star presses.
Yeah, like
And he's like what 6'7"?
Minimum of 6 foot.
we will find out.
Luchasaurus, I'm sure his build height is 6'5", but I've seen him in person. I would put him at 6'5", 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
Because I'm 6 foot and he is considerably taller than
Yeah.
I am.
Like, imagine if Kane,
6'5".
Oh, that's still pretty fucking tall.
Kane and a giant lizard did a fusion dance and got really limber and did like some more acrobatics.
Well, Kane's really tall. Kane's like 6'10".
Yeah. I mean,
But in terms of like the move set, is very Kane like, very big man Undertaker, and with like some more agile stuff thrown in, and like some killer tree trunk leg kicks, and also probably one of the most toyetic characters in AEW.
yeah. And I might be wrong, but doesn't he have like a doctorate in like
He has a
history or
master's,
something?
like a master's degree in history.
Yeah.
Oh, masters. Okay, cool.
I think anyway.
There's a lot of highly educated people in AEW.
Yeah, you got Britt Baker, who is a practicing
a
dentist.
literal dentist. Some
Literal
people say
dentist.
she's a dentist.
Some people might
say.
say she's the
The DMD.
DMD.
It was funny because like we were told, me and Cole, that she was a dentist, and then literally after that, every other person that was there or here said, "Oh, did you know she was a dentist?"
Yeah, everybody
Like-
kept saying, she is a dentist.
Hey,
Like-
y'all, did y'all know Britt Baker was a dentist?
Like,
Dr. Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
DMD.
Like-
with the fingies.
like I get it. There's everybody else didn't hear the other person say it, but I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
But
Because Lee literally broke down like all the big characters for them last Friday on Rampage, and then everybody else was like, by the way,
Did you
here's the
know?
exact same spiel y'all heard 2 days ago.
But yeah, we're not letterboxing the matches. We're
I'd say.
I say we could letterbox the event as a whole at the end.
that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, we'll do that.
So the pre-show was a great warm-up
Yeah.
for what was to come. But moving right along to the first actual match of that
30
show
minutes in.
and this one, what was that? Was a very surprising opener, which was
Yeah.
Miro, the TNT champion, going up against Eddie Kingston, the Challenger.
I was actually surprised this was going to be the opener of the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, I figured they'd save this to at least the middle of the card.
I was like dead ass expecting the buy-in battle royale.
I was also expecting the Battle Royal, but also when you think about it, like starting with a match with a feud this hot with two wrestlers that are arguably, at least Miro, is at the peak of his career right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like starting it with that, and like, it's a TV title match or a TNT title match, so it's only 20-minute time limit. And starting with that, and like just two like dudes just hossing it up and just hitting the shit out of each other. Like, I don't think you could have started the show with a better match. I can't imagine. I don't know what match could have started the show that would have made that crowd hotter. Unless you wanted to blow your load and put Punk Darby at match 1.
Well,
Which like part of me was thinking they might do that.
did the TNT title match really only have a 20-minute time limit?
It's 20
I was about to say
20-minute time limit.
And it went like the women's match had like an hour time limit, I believe. Yeah.
I think it's because the TNT title is. I mean, it's. Tony Khan says the TNT title is on par with the AEW World Championship, but the TNT title is more of a TV championship and it's defended more on TV, so it has a time limit concurrent with TV restraint. So, like, you could defend the TNT title on Rampage, and, if you gave a match an hour time limit on Rampage only goes an hour.
I mean, I would be totally okay with a hour-long TNT title match. I mean, Miro with the champion and just about anybody else. And you throw like a redacted in there.
I had no impressions except for what we had from Rampage on Friday. And it was kind of hard choosing who I wanted to win this match because I do enjoy the whole D's nuts thing. But I also really enjoy I'm a super non-religious person. The whole I love God and I love fucking my wife. I think that's just funny as hell.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to choose who I wanted to win. I was a little disappointed when Eddie didn't win. I'll say that.
I was kind of like, man, all this like hype of like, well, I don't believe in your God and redeem these nuts. I was like, damn, this is hype. Like,
I mean,
maybe you should put him in his place, but
Well, the thing was like, and I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter like where you are in the world, like Eddie Kingston literally said, haha, your God's not real. And even, they were in Chicago for Rampage, right?
Yeah. They've been in Chicago all week.
And they were, as soon as he said that, everybody was just like, yo.
Yeah, everybody's like, I don't know where to share this, but I love Eddie.
Back, now me, I mean, just me, I was just like, yeah!
So funny is that people were taking that to be like an atheistic thing, but he literally took off his crucifixes to go into the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Catholicism versus Orthodoxy.
Yes,
exactly.
Patrick is right on the nose, and like you really have to. This is going to sound like real like Rick and Morty, but hear me out. Like you really have to have like at least a semi understanding of like Catholicism and how it's
or just like early Christianity.
Early Christianity and like the relationship they have with God is like not a like, man, I love God so much. It's like they question God on everything. So Eddie Kingston doing that is very in character, especially if you've kept up with Eddie Kingston any time in his career, because that's how he's always been. And Eddie Kingston is like one of the GOATs. Love Eddie Kingston, probably one of the best independent wrestlers of all time.
I would say it's not even that. I would say that you would just have the basic understanding of that. These are two different ideologies within the Christian religion that are clashing right now. Yeah, that's literally all you have to be like, oh, well, I can still cheer for this.
Yeah. It's like two sides of the same coin, kind of.
Yeah, and also just a bunch of fuckheads who are like,
also
got to go to Sunday school.
Yeah, and Miro skipped church.
Oh my God, they both skipped church.
But it's okay. He's got God's permission to skip church and to kill people and to plow his wife.
That's fucking funny.
That's fair.
And like the match was just like bumper to bumper, just them beating the piss out of each other.
It was a fucking horse battle, and it was amazing.
Like these just
dude, it was really good.
Two big meaty men bumping meat.
I didn't realize Eddie Kingston was that tall.
Yeah,
like
Eddie Kingston is. I have met Eddie Kingston in person. He is not a. I mean, he's probably 6'1", 6'2". He is not a short dude.
Yeah. Like I mean, he's taller than Miro. It looked like at certain points.
Yeah. Well, also, I think
Miro's doing the
Yeah, Miro's build just like he's very wide set, but Miro's probably like 5'10", 5'11".
I was about to say I've as someone who has watched Miro during his time in WWE. I mean, he's still a giant jack man. He's actually gotten a bit smaller.
He is much smaller now than he is in
but
WWE.
He's toned.
But he's way more toned.
Much more toned.
Huge.
And much less hairy.
Yeah, dude, he's yoked.
Much less hairy, yes.
And it was one of the best exchanges of the match was them just slapping the shit out of each other's like just chopping.
Yeah, Miro was like purple.
Miro's like right pec was just so red and raised it was turning black.
It was definitely turning purple.
Oh yeah,
it was insane.
It was legit purple. Purple titties.
Yeah, because it was literally on the corner where his nipple is. So it was like spreading. It was insane. Yeah, they beat the piss out of each other. It was a fun time. Miro obviously ended up winning, but I was like, you know what? I can't be sad at this. Loves to fuck his wife.
Yeah.
I was going to be happy either way, but I am a little sad that Eddie didn't win because I'm just kind of waiting for Eddie to get that big win. But that was a killer match. Great way to start the legitimate show.
It was a fantastic match, and I've been trying all night to buy a Redeem These Nuts shirt and a Redeemer shirt, a Miro shirt. It took me forever to find the Miro shirt, but it is on AEW Shop.
There's about 6 shirts I'm waiting to go on sale right now. What is?
Oh God, that looks like a Walter chop.
It's Miro's right chest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fucking disgusting.
And I've watched Eddie Kingston wrestle for about a decade now, probably since his Shikara Grand Championship stuff in 2012. I've been watching Eddie Kingston for that long, and I knew he could hit hard, but the fact that he made Miro's chest purple, not even red, but purple, is kind of wild to me. Yeah. Also, it makes me extremely happy that dude's on national TV because he has deserved to make $1 million a year for his entire career. That dude is an all-timer.
I knew going into AEW a little bit about Eddie Kingston through the very few times I actually watched Impact, and he was on there, and I was like, I always thought he was pretty good on the mic, and he comes to AEW and he's just knocking him out of the park. He's just spitting bars, promo wise, not badly,
not like that one guy.
Yeah, like that one guy
who have they let him come back?
I don't know.
Yeah, they let him come back on the YouTube show. So they're integrating him back in after he said some off.
Oh, so they gave him his own web series. Fan fucking tastic. Anyway, Eddie Kingston. What little I have seen of him, I'm a huge fan of him now. I've been trying all night to buy his Redeem These Nuts shirt. Because I will also want to pair it with Miro's Redeemer shirt. And when I got to the actual checkout with all my information and whatnot, it's not like it was a CM Punk debut or anything. I still got a goddamn error message.
I really wish they would release Miro's trunks as a 5-inch inseam short because, oh my God, I want them as shorts.
Have you ever heard of the company Chalkline?
No.
Well, they came across in a group I'm in on Facebook. They have shorts and pants that are modeled after actual wrestlers' ring attire. I would highly get on that. I've actually talked to one of their representatives, and I entered my information for a promo code, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to make your purchase? You're about to miss the cutoff date." And I was like, "Actually, even with the promo, I can't really stretch that right now." And then. Again, not a sponsor, but Chalkline, one of the representatives was like, "You know what? We'll extend your code to whenever you're ready to make your first purchase." And I was like,
wow.
Holy shit.
That's pretty cool.
That's customer service.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. I will give them that. That was pretty rad on their part. I'm just saying. The first post I saw, some guy was wearing, some athletic shorts that had the old school, very first SmackDown logo printed all over them. And I was like, ooh. Dude, drop me a link.
They have Power Ranger shirts.
Yes, they do. Yes. They have more than just wrestling stuff. Yeah. Pretty good stuff.
Oh my God, those shorts are pretty expensive. They're like $55.
Yeah, they're not the cheapest shorts. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Eddie Kingston and Miro was great. I would have been okay with either winning. I would have loved for Eddie to win, but I knew Miro wasn't going to drop the belt tonight. I knew that wasn't going to happen.
He's very over right now. We all really enjoy his shtick.
Yeah, and granted, the TNT title does get dropped more frequently than the AEW title, but he hasn't really had it that long.
Also, I know it might be expensive on the company's end, but I really hope they keep the gimmick where each champion gets their own version of the belt, at least.
Because I do like his version of the TNT belt, the white and green.
Because
That's
me,
really
I'm
fucking sick.
I'm kind of a belt connoisseur, and when that belt came out with the red strap, I was like, you know what? I just don't like the red strap. As soon as they put that TNT belt on a black strap, I was just
it looks so much
"Ooh, hello."
I'm pretty sure if Eddie ever does win it, it would go to a black and gold Like,
that would be sick.
Because that's like kind of his colors already.
Yeah.
So they can just like recycle that old one.
Okay, I'm just saying, $55 for a tank top is fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
That's crazy.
I didn't say they were,
Cheap.
cheap at all. I just said they made interesting things that I have not purchased yet.
You just keep it in your bookmarks and just like one day.
I mean, like when I say they messaged me, it was literally through text message.
Oh.
And so, like, yeah, I was like, hey, you can use a print. It's like, I mean, I don't remember how much the promo code is off, but yeah, like a pair of shorts is like $50, and even I'm just like,
I better be like $25 off, my man.
no, it's probably 10%. Every company does like a
but
promotional.
Pat, what was the second match on the actual card?
The next match in the card was Jon Moxley versus the visiting challenger from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's Satoshi Kojima.
Satoshi.
Yeah. Now, as kind of a very novice fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, can someone give me a brief history of?
So Kojima is a part of what's commonly referred to as the third generation, which includes him, Yuji Nagata, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Manabu Nakanishi.
Yeah.
They were seen as the dads of New Japan. Kojima, arguably the most successful out of them. Kojima, won the IWGP Championship, but he also defected to All Japan in 2003, won the Triple Crown over there, won Champion Carnival. He's won the G1 Climax. He's main evented Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, Kojima is like, when a bunch of people come over, they're like, oh, this guy's hugely successful. But Satoshi Kojima is truly like super successful in New Japan. I mean, he's won tag titles with Tenzan multiple times. I couldn't tell you a number, but multiple times. Again, won IWGP Championship, has challenged for the GHC Heavyweight Championship as recently as probably 2015, 2016. Has won the Triple Crown, like I said. I mean, he has truly done everything you can do in the three major promotions in Japan: New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah. So, I mean, he is truly like, nope. I mean, he's older now, so he's like a veteran now, as opposed to like he's not main eventing. He's retired from the G1, but he is still like a credible threat in New Japan.
He's still very active. One of the most decorated wrestlers, like still performing.
Yeah.
And for him to come over to AEW is still like a big surprise. Even though we were teased with Tanahashi earlier, the fact to see Kojima here is still like incredible.
And Kojima's also wrestled in Impact this year. He wrestled for Impact. He wrestled Joe Doering. He teamed with Eddie Edwards for Impact tag title match. And like Pat said, they did tease Tanahashi coming over, but I think they're still building up to Mox Tanahashi, probably for one of the 3 Wrestle Kingdom shows.
Yeah, because they decided Wrestle Kingdom 3 days.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom's going to be 3 shows now, spread across 5 days.
And like each one's probably going to go 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, 2 of them are in the Tokyo Dome, and one of them is in Yokohama, maybe. But yeah, but Kojima coming over is really cool, and him and Mox was like ideally a very good style matchup.
Yeah, I noticed during his. I mean, I know Titantron is like a WWE thing, but like the fucking video package with his entrance, there were a couple of shots that looked, obviously really old. So when I saw that, I knew that, wow, this guy has been around for a while.
Some of those shots were from like 03, 04
in
that Titantron for sure. Like when he left for All Japan, one of those shots really looked like he had a match with Shinya Hashimoto in the 98 G1, and I'm almost positive one of those shots was from that match, because Kojima gets his shit rocked in that match.
Oh, shit.
Gets hit with like 19 DDTs from Hashimoto. I mean, like kicks out the yin-yang, brain busters. I would bet that one of those shots was from the 98 G1, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, some of those shots were like 20 years old.
Oh, yeah. But I'm a huge Jon Moxley fan, of course. Like I became a fan of him when he was Dean Ambrose in WWE, and of course, when he got tired of the bullshit, he finally jumped ship and went to AEW. and I've been a fan of all of his work there. And this was also a pretty fucking solid match. Like
when you take into account the way Moxley works, like Moxley really likes to work that like death match style,
a very physical, intense style.
Yeah, and Kojima being older that he is, like I think you could tell that towards the end of the match, Kojima was getting a little like worn out.
Yeah,
but I think for the most part, Kojima kept up.
Yeah,
and I think it ended up being a really, really, really good. Like I liked it just as much as Miro Kingston.
Yeah, a lot of titty slapping on that one too. Kojima was working.
Oh yeah, like
a bright red titty.
Because I felt like Moxley, like still hit him with some big moves, but also like took really good care of him at the same time.
Yeah.
And
didn't take good enough care. Could have let the bread man win.
The bread man?
Because that's his gimmick on Twitter is that he's Team Bread, he's the bread man. Because like, the funny to build up to the match, because John Moxley's like, fuck this man, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to tear his throat out. And then Kojima's just like, I don't speak English very well, but I'm going to do my best. I love bread.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome. I didn't know anything about that. That's great.
Because like that's also part of Kojima's gimmick. He loves bread and he talks about it all the time.
He's been tweeting about it I've known about him because of Tanner, obviously.
Yeah.
But I know him mainly because I followed him for a few years where he just says, I love bread. Today was a good day.
He's been doing the Bread Club gimmick for probably 3 or 4 years at this point.
It's a good gimmick.
I was halfway expecting when he was walking out, he would just be throwing slices of bread to the audience.
That'd be a good bit. He just licked them and threw them into the crowd.
But I guess, and granted, again, I know the guy. I've already forgotten his name, unfortunately. But after Moxley wins the match, what happens after that, Pat?
We have our first surprise of the night.
Oh, yeah.
When another New Japan staple arrives, and when their theme, Kaze ni Narare, starts playing, I about shit my pants.
I almost hit a Gotch
freaked the
pile
fuck
driver on
out.
Colt. I almost hit a Gotch pile driver on Colt. Minoru Suzuki came out, and it was because like he's on an extended tour of the U.S. Indies. He's wrestling a ton of. He's wrestling just a few people: Davey Richards, Dominic Guarini, Daniel Garcia, Calvin Tankman. I mean, he's wrestling a ton of people in the Indies, and he's over here for like 2 or 3 months. So the fact that he came out now and is wrestling Moxley, and we come to find out he's wrestling Moxley
Fucking Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
Oh my God.
In Moxley's hometown or in Moxley's like home crowd of Cincinnati is really cool. Because Suzuki can still go. I mean, Suzuki for Winslow and Colt, like a pioneer of MMA, like can still really go hard. Like he is not worn down at all. He was actually retired from professional wrestling from 92 to 04. Like didn't wrestle for 12 years, but did MMA, so he was still in like great shape. And when he came back to professional wrestling, he just went ham, and like he was, wild. A style that you very much have to like enjoy to really like him, but if you enjoy it, he's like one of the best. And I think Suzuki's one of the best.
His presence is just like this belligerent, malevolent, just brutal man. Because like part of his gimmick is when he come during. Because in New Japan they'll have like the young boys, like the training wrestlers that sort of like set up the ring, escort people in, sort of to keep people out. And his gimmick, he would just beat the piss out of them, hit him with a chair, brutalize them, and that's sort of his gimmick. He's just like this wild animal. And for him to take this extended break in America is unprecedented.
Yeah, pretty unprecedented for like a New Japan vet. Also, Colt will enjoy this. Huge One Piece nerd. He has actually been in an episode of One Piece.
What do you know what he was?
He was a wrestler in an episode of One Piece.
Yeah. Chopper's his favorite character.
Yeah, Chopper is his favorite character. I actually have a shirt autographed by him that is Suzuki's head, but it's based off the Gum Gum fruit.
Oh shit!
That is autographed from. It's the blue shirt that's framed in my office.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
And you know how he has like his kind close shaven, has these little designs cut into his hair.
Yeah.
There's a bit for a while where he had the gum fruit design.
Oh,
he had the
fuck.
design shaved into his head, and he still says he shaves his head based off of devil fruits.
Oh, that's
Fuck
cool.
yeah!
Yeah,
I mean, that's why whenever he came out, I had chills automatically.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool. I don't know who this is, but this is cool.
He was recently in an episode of Kamen Rider, I believe.
it's
like this week was an episode of Kamen
this
Rider.
past week, the newest season of Kamen Rider, he had a special guest star in it. I was like, holy fuck! Like my two worlds collide in wrestling and tokusatsu.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he is like a huge otaku. Like he is just super, especially One Piece. I mean, he has been a One Piece fan probably
From the
since.
beginning. Like he's even in a kaiju movie.
Yeah, I
where,
mean, like,
he's enlarged to fight a kaiju. Him and Kota Ibushi.
Yep.
And this wasn't like your standard I'm gonna look at you and like, I'm here, motherfucker. No, they
exchanged
actually
elbows.
fucking exchanged blows.
It was like a
Suzuki-
mini match.
Yeah, Suzuki choked him out, and also we didn't even mention Moxley's elbow is just bleeding.
Gushing blood.
So
the
the
whole
first
time.
elbow strike Moxley hit Suzuki with, it looks like Suzuki's neck explodes because it's
Yeah.
just covered in blood.
Yeah.
And then he just beats the piss out of John Moxley, hits him with
Yeah.
the Gotch pile driver, and just like, I would never have thought that Suzuki would be an AEW.
And I'm just gonna say it. The Gotch pile driver, cradle pile driver, best pile driver.
Gotch pile driver is the second
pile.
best variation of the pile driver.
My
Behind,
God.
listen to me.
My
Chris
God.
Hero's snap pile driver.
I've never seen it.
Okay, well you need
I'll look at it.
you need to
just
look at
because
it.
I've never seen it.
Chris
just
Hero's
because I've never
snap
seen
pile
it.
driver is a better iteration of the pile driver than the Gotch, but the Gotch is a extremely close second.
I was just saying, in kayfabe terms, the cradle pile driver, you grab them through the legs. You have more leverage to drive them
Yes.
into the ground.
Yeah, because the whole point of the Gotch pile driver is you literally pick them up like you're doing a power bomb, but instead of turning them all the way over, you just go and just immediately drop them on their head.
Yeah.
So
It's wrap your arm through their legs as opposed to wrapping them around their belly, like
Yeah.
a normal pile driver.
yes,
For those of you who know what a pile driver is.
do I need to demonstrate on Colt right now?
Please do
I
not.
will fucking pile drive somebody right now in this fucking floor. Right now.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
All right, hang tight, everybody. We got to
right.
reevaluate the system and
3 matches.
And we are going to let you listen to an ad that we're going to record later because
Or
I
it could
said
just
so.
be creepy ambient drone noises.
Or it can be auto going. Listen to these.
What's up, everybody? And we're back talking about Kris Statlander versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship. What did everybody think?
Hey, Britt Baker, how come I can't buy your boyfriend's shirt yet? I'm so fucking upset right now. I'm trying so hard.
this is another just straight up just a killer match.
Yes.
It was great. It was fucking fantastic, actually.
Probably my favorite, notwithstanding the lights out match with Thunder Rosa, probably my favorite Britt Baker match in AEW.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that lights out match. That was fucking killer.
Fire.
But
She's just covered in blood.
But Statlander is my favorite female wrestler in AEW, and this was fucking hype for me.
I can understand why. She was awesome.
Yeah,
She has,
Colt Winslow, they got to see her for the first time on Friday during her match on Rampage, and she had a show out in the handicap match where she fought 2 women by herself, and there was just that iconic moment where she had one girl on her shoulder and she caught another girl that went cross body on her and then dropped them both, just slammed her.
crazy.
Yeah.
Muscled woman.
I don't mean... Actually, I do mean to bring this up because it deserves to be brought up. There were some shitheads in a certain group, a wrestling group I'm in on Facebook, that wanted to talk some mad shit about that spot on Rampage. And
That was hype as fuck.
it was hype as fuck. I didn't understand why they were just,
That was awesome.
just shitting all over it. It didn't make sense to me.
That was
Sounds
pure,
like good old-fashioned hate of women.
yeah,
Yeah.
sexist.
Probably.
Because that was
Pretty
good
much,
old
yeah.
fucking pure strength. That was sick.
It was fucking awesome.
Statlander, I mean, fucking Hoss, she's strong.
Yeah, I bet.
She could kick everyone in that Facebook group's
And
ass.
I literally showed that spot to Riley, who could not give a less of a shit about wrestling. She was like, "Oh, that was pretty fucking cool."
Yeah.
And I will admit, when myself, Jonathan, and Patrick here went to AEW Dynamite in Nashville, this was these were dark matches, correct?
Yeah,
these were dark matches that they filmed, and it was Kris Statlander and a wrestler named Big Swole were a tag team in this dark match. Now, while all of us were watching this match, no disrespect to Big Swole, because I love Big Swole. She is also fucking fantastic.
She's awesome.
She is great. And but when we initially saw the tag team, when we saw Kris Statlander, we all thought that was Big Swole.
When you see like this 6-foot woman who's just like rippling with muscle, and it's like, oh, that's Big Swole, and like really, oh, that's Kris Statlander. And to think like how she's gone from just sort of like a little like eccentricity on like sort of the darker matches for like the shows, because these are ancillary stories that get people warmed up, to like literally having a title shot and just like being one of the most over women's competitors on the show. It's been great to watch.
It's been fantastic.
Because from that first match we saw her to now, we were just like, holy shit, she's got it.
We were there for her start.
Yep.
How crazy is that? And she was there for the women's title in a championship match tonight.
Yeah,
and it was a great fucking match.
And then, like, she was reaching heights and then got hurt. And, I was missing her a lot.
Yeah. Now,
and then, like, immediately, and then when she came back, it was like nothing had happened.
You know what? I do want to mention her comeback, because as someone who didn't get to see it live, I'm pretty sure I was working when it happened. I had to look up what actually happened online, but it was some sort of, it was like Kip Sabian and who? It was like some sort of like arcade match. Like
if it was Kip Sabian, it was with Penelope Ford.
No, Kip Sabian was teaming with Miro during that match, right?
Or was that with...
They were surrounded by video games, like the whole match is what I was saying, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And Kris Statlander, her return after being injured, Penelope Ford, at one point in the match, walked up to a claw machine and went up to it. And then all of a sudden, out of all the stuffed animals that were in the claw machine, Statlander popped out of nowhere and then punched her through the glass. And it was one of the best returns I have ever seen in the history of professional wrestling. It was so fucking cool. I loved it.
Bust out of this claw machine. She, like, punched the plexiglass screen at Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
But when it hit her face, it left this perfect like makeup spot splash on the screen. So you just see like Penelope Ford's like big like red lipstick splat on the window, and plus like where her makeup was just like plastered her.
That's fucking awesome. And it's funny too, because that's like, I mean, I don't know if she was trying to reference that, but like in Toy Story, there's those aliens.
Yeah.
When the claw machine, like that's because she is an alien. That's her gimmick.
Whoa! I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Wenzel, that's fucking genius. I love that.
Like
shit.
I was like that, like telling me that I was like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty.
I have been chosen.
Yeah.
Goodbye, my friends.
Like
I'm gonna punch this bitch in the face.
Like, it's pretty fucking awesome.
And just to see like this very like equal exchange, and like with like minimal interference from like Britt Baker's like cronies, and I will say for Britt Baker being the chicken shit heel, she legitimately, beat Kris Statlander, and like it was a very competitive match, and like that final stretch was just like holy shit.
Yeah, it was a hard fought battle. I was really sad, but it was a good. It was
one of those things where my heart was torn. Kind of like with Kingston and Miro. Like I preferred the challenger in those matches, but like. Like especially Britt Baker, like she really hasn't had the title that long, and I love her as champion right
and they're obviously building her as being like a long term.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they were doing with kind of what they're doing with all their singles champions right now. They're kind of like trying to establish it up because AEW still as a whole is a young company.
Yeah.
So like
you got officially started in 2019.
Yeah, so like you don't want to be 2 years in and be like, yeah, we've had like 24 world champions already.
Oh yeah, you don't want that.
So they're trying to establish some sort of like dominance amongst at least their singles champs. The women's
Britt
champ.
Baker's like road to being the heel champ because she's been like over for a while, and like so for them to finally get her to the championship spot, it's like she deserves to be in that spot for a long time. To have like this really dominant heel champion.
Yeah. And it's crazy too because at this point, like, yes, she is a heel, but she is so over with the fans. She is never booed, and like it's to the point where like Red Velvet, the past few weeks have been booed because like the fans are just so behind. I think they really messed up with Baker having a title match in Pittsburgh, which is Baker's hometown. And, like, that crowd just getting so behind Baker, and that has kind of carried over, and, like, especially to these, like, smarkier crowds like Chicago, where they've been for the last week and a half, essentially, 2 weeks. And, like, of course they're going to be behind Baker versus even a Statlander who was kind of like an indie darling in and of herself not that long. Yeah. But Baker has really come into her own in AEW, and again, being in these smarkier crowds and people being like, oh, it's Britt Baker. Of course we have to like her. It has really, like, I don't want to say it's hurt AEW because it obviously hasn't, but it's been like a weird misstep for AEW where, like, she's being booked as a heel, but she is obviously, like, probably the most over women's wrestler on the roster.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that's their fault because, like...
No, it's not.
Because she was brought in as a face, right? And it didn't really... I'm not saying it didn't work, but like she was definitely more new and novice to it.
Yeah.
So because once she turned heel was when I think like everyone was like, "Oh shit, she does have something."
Because that's where her natural strength is when it comes to like being a performer. Because there's always wrestlers who's like go babyface, go heel over the course of their career, but there's always usually one alignment that they do better in. And obviously, her being a heel is just like the shoe fits perfectly.
Yeah, and this was an interesting instance for me because at first I dug Britt Baker's shtick, but then like and you can attest to this. I've been watching AEW since its like inception, and Jonathan and Pat can tell you, for the longest time, I was not a Britt Baker fan. I was not. It was not working for me. Something about that character was not clicking. But like you said, when she finally went full-blown fucking heel with her character, that's when, you know what? She's great. She's fantastic. This was a match where, I mean, again, as much as I wanted Kris Statlander to win, I was okay with Britt Baker winning as well because I didn't think it was her time to drop the belt. She's too hot right now, and she needs to keep it for a little bit longer.
Well, and she's only had it for like a couple months.
I mean,
if that.
you say she had it for that long, but I will say, like, AEW, they have been pretty good about, like, making their titles mean something. Like, the champions they've had have had it for, like, pretty girthy reigns.
Yeah,
like,
nobody has had a short reign yet.
I'm glad we brought this up because I took Jonathan down a little history lesson with a certain WCW championship in the certain year of 2000, and how many times their world title changed in one fucking year, including vacancies. It was like, what, 26?
It was 26, including vacancies.
Oh, my sweet leaping Jesus.
I believe it.
It was rough. But, yeah, like, Statlander and Britt Baker, it was a stellar match. It was great.
Probably
really fucking good.
Probably the best non-Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match in AEW. And I'm not saying that as somebody that doesn't like Britt Baker, but I've always felt like she's been world-class on the mic, and her in-ring has kind of been behind. Not to call her in-ring bad, but her in-ring has always kind of been behind her promo abilities. But I feel like this match, it really, like, it was like the best of both worlds, and, like, she really turned it on for this match. And Statlander being as hot as she is right now, it really helped, and, like, they really put on a stellar match.
Oh, yeah. And also, I'm sorry, Pat, but Britt Baker, you're obviously listening to this show, but your Scott Hall inspired gear that you had a few weeks back, mwah, fucking great. I loved it.
That's the wettest kiss sound I've ever heard.
It really was.
I mean, we've already established that I have to be really close on this mic, so I want to get it right for effect.
That's fair.
What did you think, Cole? We really haven't heard from you.
I really liked it as well. It was hard with this one, choosing who I'd rather have win. In the end, I was still with Statlander because the cool alien thing. I thought it was a freaky little thing with a glove as soon as dentist put it on and just shoved her fist into her mouth, and then I was just out.
Lockjaw.
Well, I also think it also was like kind of a 1-2 punch in the effect that A, she's a dentist and she's obviously gloved up, and B, she really didn't start using this move until like the COVID era, I believe, right?
Yeah, which is the weirdest time to start it.
And
which
then,
is
like,
why
hey,
she puts on the glove.
She would like. I'm pretty sure there were times on Dynamite where she would go for the move without the glove. She's like, whoa, Ruby, give me my glove. And then like she'll give her the glove, she'll put it on, and then put the move on her, and then her opponent would tap out, and it was great. It was really good.
It's still a very fun move. It's just weird to continue doing it during this time.
But also a little icky.
It's a little icky, yeah. I don't want to put my fingers in anyone's
mouth. At least
mouth.
she's gloving up. She's being safe
she's a dentist. She knows the proper PPE protocol.
Boom, boom. Wenzel, I couldn't help but notice you were a huge fan of Statlander.
Yeah, I really liked it.
What did you think of this match?
I thought it was good. I was really disappointed that Statlander lost, but with everything that you guys have told me, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I just want to see more of her.
Yeah. You will if you continue to watch the show.
I love the gimmick. I guess I would be a Statlander stan now. I guess very, very strong, very tough. Yeah.
Yeah, she is very strong and can throw just about anybody around in that ring, as she has shown so far. Sometimes two people at once. Yeah,
that's true.
Yep, you're awesome, Kris Statlander. If you're listening to this,
and she is,
and for some reason,
don't worry. As soon as this episode releases, I am tagging her personally, and I'm like, hey, if you want to hear a bunch of people that really like your stuff. And not even in a creepy way.
I mean, and the thing is too is like watching this when you guys showed me that little like shirt where she's like the ET. I was like, man, I wouldn't mind having some like Statlander merch.
Yeah, it's a really good shirt.
Yeah,
I honestly am thinking about getting that shirt.
Like that's pretty. I really like that. Yeah,
Statlander shirt's pretty good. Also, off topic, but the new pink Omega shirt's pretty good. I don't know if anybody.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, I've been. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said earlier, I attempted to buy 2 shirts and I failed because sometimes technology fails you. And I really want to get a certain shirt that we will talk about later.
Yeah.
I'm literally on Shop AEW right now.
It's not even there. I've been looking. The shirt that we will talk about later is not even there.
But the Redeem My Nuts shirt is on there.
Yeah, it is. But also, I found the Redeemer shirt, the Miro shirt that I do want. I tried to, like I said, I had both of those shirts in the cart, and as soon as I hit fucking purchase, I got another error message. Me and Pro Wrestling Tees are not the best of friends right now. I'm sorry. Not a sponsor.
Not after this.
Also, Statlander, a really fun follow on Twitter.
Yeah, really. Like, seriously, a really fun follow on Twitter.
Granted, there are a lot of wrestlers who are really fun on Twitter, especially the Iron Sheik. He just cracks me the fuck up.
Again, not a sponsor, but there is a, I don't know if it's still on Netflix. That's how I watched it, but there is a documentary about the Iron Sheik. And I'm pretty sure, spoilers for the documentary, but the ending, it shows how he met his social media team and why his tweets are the tweets that he tweets and why they are so fucking funny.
Because they are, like, unhinged, almost share level of absurd as far as tweet goes. And like, for example, like, one he tweeted, like, last week was, like, was like, "God damn, E.T., why the fuck did you not phone home earlier and save us like 2 hours?" And it's like all caps. He's like, "You fucking jabroni." I'm like, Jesus Christ, this man is unhinged.
I love how the Iron Sheik can't even walk anymore, but his mind's just still turning.
Just
fast as a whip.
And I just love how, like, a social media fucking team was just like, I mean, they obviously had to be wrestling fans to just, like, approach the Iron Sheik and be like, hey, we've heard a couple of your Howard Stern interviews. How would you like for us to promote your tweet? It's so good. I love it. I follow the Iron Sheik. Like, it's great. I love it.
Anywho, next match.
Next match!
Because we're currently on the 4th match on this show.
How many matches are there?
There's 9 on the main show, 10 in total.
God damn.
So we are not even halfway
This
done
would
with
be
the
the
show?
halfway point counting the buy-in.
Yeah, this show's going to be
All right.
4 hours long.
Which match is this?
This is the Lucha Brothers
God.
taking on the
Oh, man.
AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, in a steel cage match.
God, for as much as I've, like, despised the Young Bucks these past few months when they're doing their doucher gimmick, they do their job really well.
Exactly. That's what I'm
hate.
saying. Like, the fact that they are making you hate them is beautiful. Because that's what they're supposed to do. And I love it. I love it.
There were so many moments throughout this match that I was just like, I just want you to get hurt. Like, right now. But not really. They're acting. They're acting. I understand.
No,
but why'd you have to pull out the boot?
You can't say that's acting. Whoa, bro.
Because I really do feel it's a great fortunate moment that Colt Winslow got to see like their first like big pay-per-view with like the gang, and it be between these like tag team veterans who like have not only have just like great matches across their careers individually, but just like even between each other as teams, just having some knockdown drag out matches. But this match for the tag team championship, it was probably one of the most exhausting matches that we saw.
Because my God.
Throughout the whole time, we were screaming, we were hollering, we were jumping up and down.
You guys were drinking.
Someone said we were hooting and hollering.
Very much so.
I could believe it. And
you know what? A few alcoholic beverages may have been consumed during the consumption of this pay-per-view. Yes, I'm not going to lie. Everyone who consumed alcohol here was of age to consume alcohol.
No one was underage here at all.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying.
I don't know. Piper looked kind of suspicious.
Oh, shit. Did Darwin and Piper get into it?
Pat is also wearing a fantastical Lucha Bros shirt.
It's pretty sick.
It's glistening in the fucking light.
Because I got Liz and I a Lucha Brothers shirt that Penta only sells during his like tours in Mexico. So I managed to snag these for Liz and I back when we were tag teaming the art conventions.
If I'm not mistaken, though, is that the PWG championship on them? Yeah, that totally is. Okay.
And
very NWA television championship looking belt there. It's weird.
Very much so. And
weird.
Just like the frenetic pace that this match had, it was just back and forth. Like I can't tell you all the different spots.
It was exhausting. Like
I just wanted it to be over.
Not in a bad
point.
way. Not in like. This was, I think it's a fair point to mention that all of us were tired at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I don't think I've ever went as crazy for a match that we have watched together, including NXT pay-per-views, including WWE pay-per-views.
I don't know. That's a tall order. We've gone pretty fucking ham for some takeovers.
I'm
before.
aware. I have never lost my voice, and I feel like it is going.
I can still understand you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like it is going.
Good.
I may wake up tomorrow.
But oh my God! Like I've always heard of the Young Bucks. I've always seen like the clips and whatnot. I become like a fledged like observer of this tag team until AEW, and I'm not gonna lie, they're really good at what they do, heel or face. They can put on any persona they want, and I feel like it works. Not to mention they are phenomenal workers in the ring. These guys are work fucking horses, and they're great. And also the Lucha Brothers. Oh my God! Like again, everything that I applied to the Young Bucks, it's literally the exact same thing to the Lucha Brothers. Like, they're fantastic. Like I live with Patrick here. We're roommates, and like he knows more about the Lucha Bros than I do. Like, hell, again, the fantastic shirt here, and again, they've been around for a very long time, but I didn't get like a really good like dose of the Lucha Bros until AEW, and I can't stress this enough. I'm so glad that this company exists. Like, I am a huge fucking AEW mark, and I'm not ashamed to admit that.
I mean, it really, too, like, you really wouldn't have got a huge dose of the Lucha Brother, because even watching Lucha Underground, and Pat, you're the only other person here that
I still want to watch that, by the way. I've seen, like, the first 2 episodes, and I'm sold.
A Lucha Underground retrospective would be really fun.
Ooh,
but
yes.
Pentagon and Phoenix never teamed, really, in Lucha Underground. It wasn't until they started taking independent bookings that they were booked as the tag team and brothers. And then AAA finally started using them because they got so popular in Lucha Underground. AAA, like, helped fund Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
AAA was finally like, oh, we should probably, like, book these guys higher up the card. Kind of like what they did with Aerostar and Drago.
Yeah.
Because Drago, Aerostar, and Phoenix and Pentagon were, like, the big 4 that really got pushed. And they were like, we should really start booking them. And then Pentagon and Phoenix started getting PWG bookings, and then they just started getting booked everywhere together, like as a tag team and singles.
Like every big show on the Indie Feds in like the mid 2010s, like you were guaranteed to see Penta and Ray Phoenix there, like about any time you can imagine.
Yeah, and then there was a ton of copyright issues, so Pentagon Jr. had to go by Penta El Zero Miedo, and Phoenix had to become. At one point, he was King Phoenix, but then he was Ray Phoenix.
But you know, it's the same thing. It's just Ray is King in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm really gonna feel fucking bad if I'm wrong here, but like I might be imagining this, but Pat, it was the first time I remember you telling me about. Didn't like Ray and Penta didn't they partake in the intersection wrestling kind of thing, like at the red light? Like, didn't that how they got their start? Like, they did matches literally when people were parked at an intersection, and they would do like stuff for tips. Am I making this up? Am I wrong?
I'm not going to say they didn't do that because, like, with like how humble a lot of Mexican wrestling can be, I guarantee that they did that at some point. I can't independently confirm that that's how they got started.
I'm not saying like. Shit. I may have fucked up here.
No, that is how like a bunch of like. I mean, that is like a very common, especially in Mexico, practice. Is a bunch of people. I mean, like if you've ever seen the David Arquette documentary, David Arquette wrestled in those red light
that's
matches.
The thing. Like I had seen clips of that, but before, and I was just like, holy! As someone who has watched wrestling as long as I have, seeing that, I was like, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
There were people like literally having matches on like a street.
Like it wouldn't
right now
shock me just because I mean there's so many people like we never even know about like them going under different gimmicks, all of that. I had never heard of Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix till Lucha Underground.
I'm sorry if I'm obviously making this up. I could have sworn you were the one who told me that they like kind of almost got their start doing stuff like that.
I mean, just considering like how like tenured they are, I'd bet it's about any amount of money comfortably that they have done that at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing as like Andrade has been wrestling since he was 15
or 14. Like when he was like that big around.
Yeah, like
little skinny little boy. And now he's just like the yoke to this like Mexican wrestler in AEW.
Well, to any hardcore wrestling fan who just so happens to be listening to this impromptu wrestling episode that we're fucking doing out of the blue, I'm sorry if I am wrong or right. I don't know.
DM Penta and Phoenix's.
Like, I will tweet them right now and be like, "Hey, did y'all ever do this? If you did, just say zero Miro." But again, this match like is, it was fantastic. I haven't felt this I haven't felt this electric about a tag team match since probably, I believe it was, again, another AEW match, but the Bucks versus Omega and Hangman Page.
I was about to bring that up because I remember that match in particular just being fucking insane.
That was that
Great.
Revolution. Was that last
Yeah, Revolution. And they
was
went
like the
like 40 minutes.
It was like the
shit?
last pay-per-view we watched before COVID.
Yeah. And like this pay-per-view, after that match, I was like, I'm tired.
Colton Winslow, I don't know if hell, I'll even buy it for you just so y'all can see it. Just make sure both of you are around to watch it. But that match, like, if I have to rent y'all that Revolution pay-per-view just so y'all can watch the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No cage, but still a fucking banger.
That level of intensity and just like all the like fall finishes, just like, oh fuck, come on! Like every time you think it's over, it keeps going, and just the level of just like physical intensity, whether like every time one person hits, and the other one hits them back, throwing into the cage, throwing over top of each other. And then they hit like this crescendo where the fucking Bucks pull out a gimmick they haven't used since PWG when they fought Candice LeRae and the now canceled shithead Joey Ryan, where they pulled out a shoe covered with thumbtacks on the bottom of it. And when I tell you they fucking laid the fuck into Candice LeRae's head, like her whole head was gushing blood. Yes. And they just nearly missed her eye. And then they pulled that shit out again for this match. Yeah. They fucking obliterated Penta and Venus. Like, they were gushing blood.
Yeah. Penta was already bleeding before that.
Yeah. Was bleeding so
bad. Nike got pulled out.
I don't remember exactly at one point, but I don't know if it was before or after the Bucks started ripping his mask open, but Penta started pissing blood out of his face. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god!" We were all concerned, like legitimately.
His eyes were filled with blood.
Yeah. Probably like the best blood, like bleeding I've seen in a wrestler, probably since Lucha Underground. Because I mean, really, AEW doesn't really lean super heavy into. I mean, granted, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa is.
That was a pretty bloody match.
But a lot of the blood has been kind of incidental to the match, with a few exceptions.
Yes, I would say since like a super scripted program, since Lucha Underground, I haven't seen a ton of blood like that. But especially Pentagon, because Pentagon is like notorious now for like he kind of just goes through the motions, especially in non-AEW matches. Yeah. To see him bleed that much, I was like, oh shit.
I mean, with someone like with his pedigree who's done like 110,000 matches, and like also like who's done as much like hardcore stuff as he's done, like I've seen him just like piss buckets of blood.
Now,
like his match with Vampire and Lucha Underground, I've seen blood literally pour out of his head.
Now, granted, and I really hope I'm wrong here. I do now. Penta, does he have contacts in one or both eyes when he wrestles?
He usually has them in both eyes.
I think he has them in both. Now again, I really hope it wasn't an eye injury, but I also feel like the fact that he had contact lenses in his eyes somehow made his bleeding look a little more gnarly than it did.
It did. I will say. If I had to guess, the blood was literally getting behind the contact.
Yeah, it looked pretty red.
So it looked like his eye was exploding.
Yeah.
We were all concerned, but at the same time, Jesus Christ, we got a stellar fucking match out of both of these tag teams. Mm-hmm. We don't deserve these two tag teams. Oh my god,
because the fuck out of each other.
Because when we all started watching AEW, these were two tag teams I sort of latched onto initially. Yeah. And just seeing them go as hard as they did and, just the various levels of storytelling. And finally, like, when the Lucha Brothers finally won, it was...
Oh, man. Oh my God!
Because like when they finally, because I walked in this match thinking the Bucks were going to win. They were going to hold these titles.
Same.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of thought they should have dropped it to Jurassic Express a couple weeks ago.
I thought Jurassic Express should have been in this match. Yes. Like, no disrespect to the Lucha Brothers and again, they won and good God fucking damn, they deserved it for what they did. Yeah, and hell, what they have done, and not just this company for in professional wrestling in general, but at the same time, when we were all watching that match happening on Rampage, we all were like, when the Lucha Brothers got that pin, we were all like, huh?
Really?
It kind of should have been Lucha. Not Lucha. Jurassic Express, right? Yeah. I thought they should have went with that, but at the same time, I am not fucking mad at the fact that the Lucha Bros won. Hell,
I was fucking crying.
Jonathan, you have no. This is not a dig. This is not a bit. This is not.
No.
Do you know how fucking happy that made me? You were over there. You were crying literal tears of joy that the Lucha Brothers won, and you were still fairly new into wrestling. Like you've only been watching for what, a year, maybe?
2 years.
Little 2 years. Oh yeah.
I cannot say this. Literally, one of my goals since like just being close with everybody, especially like Colt, Wenzel, and Jonathan, has been to try to even get them to understand wrestling a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like without AEW, it wouldn't be possible. And to see Jonathan have that emotional reaction to Lucha, to fucking Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks match, I was just like, we did it. Big Tony, we did it.
Because when fucking Penta jumped in front of Phoenix to
protect
I was like, no, this is happening.
There was a moment earlier we mentioned. This is when the Young Bucks brought out the shoe that had the thumbtacks on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
They put it on, and they were about to hit Ray Phoenix with it, and then Penta literally just fucking baseball slides in front of him, like, no.
And this is already after his
oh
face is fucked up.
After he's already been beat to hell, he goes to take that attack for his younger brother.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've watched a good variety of wrestling this year. It's definitely not the widest variety I've ever watched, but I've watched a lot of Pro Wrestling Noah, a lot of ICW No Holds Barred, the big WWE matches, big AEW matches. I am hard pressed to say this isn't my match of the year, just because the storyline in it and just the pure athleticism in it,
and the emotions. We were all
we were hooting and hollering.
We were going fucking nuts the whole time. Colt and Wenzel.
We were all standing.
I was screaming too.
What was y'all's reaction to some of the big moments and to reacting to us?
I honestly, I don't think I paid attention to anyone else in the room because I was just laser focused in on to this match. Because as soon as the Young Bucks started pulling on their masks, I was like, "This is so fucking disrespectful.
Yeah,
this
I know,
is fucked up. You can't do this." And then I saw Pentagon with the blood covering his face, and I was like, "That's very. I'm worried about you, but you do look very cool. I'll say that."
It's a great effect, but at the same time, it does cause a bit of concern.
Yeah.
There were kind of a couple Matt Hardy moments where I'm like, oh no, should this match continue?
And this brings on you know what? I'm gonna let you finish. Please finish.
I was gonna say the one part that I was really excited about was I can't remember which one of the Lucha Brothers it was, but they climbed to the top of the
Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix climbed to the top of the cage and was just fucking jumped on him. That shit was wild to me.
He fucking leaped off, and their cage, first of all, can we get a as the kids say, poggers in chat for how smooth the cage fits onto their ring?
There
no
wasn't
ring
a door.
assembly acquired.
It's because there wasn't a door.
No. Normally, most of my wrestling knowledge comes from WWE because that's the one that's been along.
That's been the only promotion in America since 2001 that has any sort of national stage.
I was there for the Attitude Era. I was there for when WCW and ECW closed their doors. But WCW reigned supreme. WWE. Sorry, I've been drinking. WWE.
What?
WWE's been around for the longest time, and as far as I can remember, even when they had a solid one-piece cage, they at least had to have some sort of crew there to make sure everything was okay.
Yes.
I'm not just sucking AEW's cock here or anything, but all they did was lower the cage and everything was hunky dory. So it was a smooth transition. Hell, they even have room between the fucking ropes in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. Where it's
they can even get between the fucking cage and
the apron. Yeah.
It's weird, but oh my god,
probably my favorite cage setup I know, right? In a while. I can't think of anything
that
else.
is the same cage I mean, like, I know, like, Cody Rhodes and Wardlow had the first cage match in AEW, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And that moonsault that Cody Rhodes did, he did, like, shatter his fucking ankle, correct?
He hurt his foot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, great. That was
a rad fucking move.
Yeah.
Goddamn, it was fucking awesome. But, like, man, I forgot who said it. I'm sure it was somebody in our friend group. It may have been Pat. It may have been Justin. It's anybody. But whoever said this quote, it holds true. When professional wrestling is good, there is goddamn nothing like it. Nothing like it whatsoever.
There's really not, because like there's not a sport or entertainment. I mean, the only thing I can think that hits that like emotional high with me is going to sound super nerdy, but it's like out of things I've watched within the last probably 2 years is like Evangelion. And like, not to compare wrestling to Evangelion, because it's two totally
It's
different
very
things.
anime.
But pro wrestling is very like you have to hit that high notes, but when you hit those high notes right, it's like it's like nothing else on the planet. Like, it just hits all, like, you get the athleticism, you get the camaraderie
experience
of sports, but you get like the athleticism, and you get like theater, and you get like like good storylines. Like, when it hits, I mean, pro wrestling fucking hits.
Exactly.
And like, I know like a lot of people give wrestling shit because it is scripted, but like
these people are working hard.
I mean,
they're working hard, and like, just looking at Penta, like, they're getting hurt. Like, it's not
it's
this is
vague.
You cannot fake getting cut and bleeding.
That's the thing.
You can blade. Even blading, though, you are still bleeding
Yes.
your own blood.
Literally,
it's not ketchup packets.
Literally, quite goddamn motherfucking literally blood, sweat, and tears that these men and women are giving to people for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah,
and you gotta love it to fucking do it.
But when we would compare this to, like, say, UFC or like MMA in general, like, I appreciate MMA. I love martial arts and stuff like that. I like watching a good fight, but most fights don't last that long.
Exactly.
Most fights end within the first minute. Like, if you're going like all out.
Like, I'm not saying it. Like, you know what? If there's like a local, a fighter you like, if you want to rent the particular pay-per-view that person is on just to support him, go right ahead. But as someone who appreciates that sport, but also appreciates the value of the goddamn dollar, odds are you can see the finish of said fight on like any social media network
within 90 seconds.
Within 90 fucking seconds.
The GIF will surmise like an entire UFC fight, not to disparage it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but like, just with I couldn't think of another time probably since the Revolution match, but the Bucks and Hangman Page, where we were like, everybody was just so into, like, we were jumping on the ground so hard. People was like, this floor's about to fall.
Yeah.
No.
Again, Riley had came here to bring me some food, and
she fucking sat down and watched it.
Could not give a less of a shit about professional wrestling. She's like, I gotta sit down and watch this.
She's fucking yes.
I mean, I've been with her for over 2 years, and like, again, she really liked the Statlander spot on Rampage, and I feel like I'm getting her slowly. But she sat down. She's like, "Well, shit, I gotta kind of watch."
Was it the match that got her, or was it us and how?
I honestly think a little of both. But is that not what professional wrestling is?
It's
feeding
all.
off
It's
the
all
crowd
it is.
energy.
It's fucking fantastic. I love wrestling so much. Oh my god! I'm so glad we have been talking about wrestling this whole time.
It's kind of like what you were bringing up with UFC pay-per-views. I think the disconnect with UFC pay-per-view, like UFC fights and wrestling fights, like AEW in particular, is there's no storyline for a lot of UFC fights. I mean, some of your main event, like when I watch,
or at least not like in the moment. Most of the time, these narratives are formed after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. And like with a bunch of MMA fights, I love the freak show fights. Like Floyd Mayweather versus Tenshin Nakazawa. Like, I love that match where he fights a kickboxing prodigy and beats him in 2 minutes because just like tension can't compete with Floyd, or like Floyd Mayweather versus whichever Paul brother it was, or Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. And I like watching Conor McGregor fights because Conor McGregor.
It was Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul. And Conor McGregor kind of gets the pro wrestling aspect of MMA. Like Conor McGregor knows how to cut a promo at least better than some fighters.
Yeah.
But it's like pro wrestling just hits harder. Because like I care more, and I think that's like the overall thing is people care more about these characters than they do in MMA fights.
And they're a lot stronger and more striking personalities too.
Well, I mean,
but most like MMA fighters are just like regular dudes.
These.
I mean, they're exceptionally trained, and they all could whoop my ass. Mm-hmm. But like they kind of have a average Joe type of.
This is combining. This might sound really pretentious. It's like combining theater with gladiator battles, because with these characters, they are actual characters. Are they getting actually hurt? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and then they're actually crafting storylines. Like it's not like when you see these fights, you see these guys. They're in their prime. They knock somebody out, they beat the shit out of somebody, that done and done. Like that's it. There's no storyline, there's no character, there's no personality. Like you said, there are real people. Now you'll have stories outside of that where they might get into like some kind of like controversy or do something or say something, but that's kind of it. Know?
Well, Wenzel, I am really fucking glad you brought this up because like, I mean, again, like I joke around and call myself I like to consider myself a pro wrestling historian to a point. Like, sometimes, like, even if I'm not watching at the time, I will make a point to look up, like, what was going on, like, with that storyline, what was going on behind the scenes. Because, hell, like, I think we can all admit that sometimes what's going on, like, backstage is more entertaining than what we see on television.
For sure. You can get the same level of drama.
Yeah, but Wenzel brought up the fucking gladiator days, and that is... I mean, it's pretty much the start of pro wrestling. Like, pro wrestling, like what? Like, I mean, earliest days was like what? The circus?
I mean, no. I mean, really,
like,
pro
even
wrestling,
before that,
I mean, even in Greco-Roman wrestling in fucking ancient Greece, I mean, there was match fixing for the purpose of entertaining audiences. I mean, a form of pro wrestling has been around since, like...
Ancient times.
Ancient times. Mm-hmm. I mean... Honestly, like it hasn't been like, oh shit, Hercules is on the top rope or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like to an extent, like there's been match fixing and like, hey, fight for entertainment purposes, not to actually kill someone.
Well, has
been going on forever.
The interesting thing about sports is that with the other side, with like sports like football, MMA, UFC, all these like I mean they're like combat sports, like. You have this
domesticated violence.
You have this thing where
it's
not domestic violence.
Oh Jesus!
Domesticated violence.
It makes sense.
That's a new term I've never heard before, but
because
I'm also zooted as fuck. So I'm probably going to edit this out. Who knows?
I mean, you probably should. Even though everything was purchased legally, I'm just saying it was. Anyway,
with a lot of these combat sports, you have what they're always referred to as modern day gladiators.
Yeah.
Because they are putting their bodies on the line and hurting themselves. Yeah. But it's never to the extent like wrestling is, where you're combining that with theater, with a show, with actual like written lines. Because like no football player's like, all right, like I'm going to be the little Joker out there, guys. All right?
I'm going Joker today, boys.
I'm going to go Joker.
Because most every other sport, like, I'm a pretty big football fan, but a lot of the narratives that get built around football come around after the fact.
Yeah, and now
because it's kind of hard to do that in the moment.
Now with college football, you won't see this, but like with like more like NFL and stuff, you have these football players who like or just athletes who become like these celebrities, like huge superstars.
You say that, but we live in a college town where a lot of college players are huge celebrities.
Yeah, but like that's different from like somebody who's a national celebrity.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
Because Tom Brady is known all across the country.
Yeah.
And then
or take like Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, like a worldwide celebrity.
Yeah,
he
but
plays soccer.
but like you have these characters who probably have agents or probably have who knows what's going on behind the scenes. They actually might like do ridiculous stuff behind the curtain that like will get put in the news for publicity's sake.
Yeah.
That's where you see them trying to mimic this kind of drama that's in wrestling that can also be behind the curtain in wrestling. But you can see where I can understand completely and I fully like get it, like wrestling, the love and appreciation for it.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I would care more about other sports if like they just straight up said your God's not real, suck these nuts.
it'd be
No, I'm sorry. No, I just want to say like I forgot to finish the main point I was going to make when I brought up MMA in the first place. But I'm glad you brought up what you did because now I have 2 points to bring up. First of all, it's like Jonathan said earlier. Sometimes if you rent say like a boxing event or an MMA event, sometimes somebody will get knocked out immediately. And I'm not saying, you know what, support whoever you want to support financially with your money. Do whatever you want. I'm not saying you shouldn't. However, this is also why I love professional wrestling because you're paying a set fee, a flat fee, and going in, you're going to get at least some sort of show. Yeah. You pay like 60, 70, 80. Hell, I'm pretty sure I heard like some of these fights go up to like $90 on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
some boxing matches will be like $75, $85.
Yeah. And again, like I'm not going to say buying it is a bad idea, but this is just me.
God of War is $20 at GameStop. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But at least when you're buying like a pay-per-view, say like we've done tonight twice. Good God, y'all are fucking troopers. I will throw anybody whatever money they need for the fact. I will say that exactly, obviously. But God, we had to rent that twice. That's crazy. And also, I will argue the fact that MMA and maybe even a little bit of professional boxing has gotten to the status that it has because they borrowed bits of professional wrestling.
Oh my God!
Well, and also too, like they've been doing that stuff for a long
time.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali has said for a fact, when he was still alive, that he took his sting, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, from Gorgeous George, who wrestled in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Muhammad Ali literally based his promos off of Gorgeous George promos.
Yeah. Well, and then like Mike Tyson's trainer talked about how like because Mike Tyson wasn't that great on the mic, how they built him as this like super monster that just destroyed people. And like we have said, like, I'd rather watch like a 4-hour wrestling pay-per-view than like a 5-second boxing match. But watching those old Tyson fights where he just destroys people is interesting.
Well, also too, something that's interesting is that fixed fights were a huge deal back in like 20th
still
century.
Are
still are obviously, but like it's not like, because I say this because I bring up Mayweather and Paul. Now people were like, there was so much hype surrounding that, but then it's like I'm trying to think. Somebody I think
is
did
that really
win.
happening?
It already
happened.
No, it happened.
Floyd Mayweather and Paul.
Logan Paul
fought and then went to a split decision.
Yeah, because they basically kind of drug it out with them. Like, from what I understand,
the Paul brothers are very good.
It was
an
exhibition match that did not count on any official record.
It was basically, what I'm saying is that you have these two huge celebrities, and they're basically, from what I heard, were hugging.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're basically hugging, and that's the thing is that this like isn't like obviously publicly a fixed fight.
Yes.
But for the purpose of like money and showmanship,
yes,
they carried it out, and they got a ton of fucking money.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the Mayweather McGregor fight because, with the rule set they were fighting with, you also have to look at the rule set. They're fighting with certain weight gloves. and Conor fought a boxing match. Say you will about Conor McGregor, but he has also borrowed a lot from professional wrestling. Even Floyd Mayweather.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather has wrestled at WrestleMania. He wrestled no BS Paul Wight at WrestleMania 24 in Orlando, Florida.
He wrestled him, but
I mean, one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time is Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show. I will die on that hill. I don't care. But they have borrowed.
Wow, you're gonna die alone. Oh my God!
You gotta watch.
What the absolute fuck?
Factor. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Because it's entirely. It's a top 15 match at WrestleMania ever. WrestleMania as a whole is not known for their great matches. They're known for their big moments, but they're not known for their great matches.
Are you telling me that Big Show and Floyd Mayweather was a big moment in WrestleMania?
No, it's not. But as far as a great match goes, it is a top. A top 15 match in WrestleMania history.
Justin,
I will die on the hill.
God,
we've already been here.
No.
We're still halfway through this guy.
Wait, we got it. We got to keep going. Next.
We're probably about to hit this 2-hour mark.
Anything?
Do we need to take another break?
But what's the next match?
The next match is the Women's Battle Royal.
Can we just say final thoughts on the Lucha Brothers versus?
It was fantastic,
Young
and
Bucks.
I loved every bit of it. Yes.
Very good match. I love them all. Lucha Brothers, I am now a fan of you. Young Bucks, do not be disrespectful to my friends.
10 out of 10.
I mean, odds are they're going to be disrespectful to him on Wednesday, but it's all in good fun.
I honestly do say I think that's probably my favorite match of the year so far and if you would have told me going into the show that I would have liked that match that much, I wouldn't have believed you. But also Pentagon put on a world-class performance.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I loved the bit where he hugged and kissed his daughters and they're crying their eyes out.
Oh my God!
Covered in blood.
He's literally covered in so much blood.
And we haven't mentioned this yet, but I'll find the pictures. I'm pretty sure the source of the actual pictures are on the said pictures. But we were playing a particular game that involved may or may not have involved alcohol.
I just drank water.
No, he is a fucking liar and a charlatan.
That is a lie from the pits of hell.
Fat ass lie. Somebody, out of the kindness of their hearts, decided to come up with a AEW all-out pay-per-view drinking game, and we abided by all of those rules tonight. And you know what? As I was looking at the rules, do you know the one rule, shockingly enough, that we did not drink for? And please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember any of this. I mean, maybe in the Omega cage match later on, but other than that, outside interference, not that much.
Nah.
Not that much at all, actually.
We drank it during the women's championship match, I know.
For outside interference? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Justin
think so.
called it.
No. I thought we were going to because we didn't mention this earlier, but for the women's championship match, there was a moment when Kris Statlander was outside the ring and she was about to get counted out. Also, the fucking count out of fake out happened at least 4 times tonight. That bothered me.
Well, they get to 9 and they run back.
Yeah. I swear to God, at least not 4, but guaranteed.
It was at least
3
twice.
times. 3 times. Wrestlers reached a 9 count and then jumped in the ring. Now this moment where Statlander was about to get in and Orange Cassidy, I thought Orange Cassidy was gonna physically pick her up and throw her into the ring, but I'm actually glad that they went with Orange Cassidy because Orange Cassidy. For those of you who don't know, is the laziest professional wrestler out there. But when Statlander was about to lose via countout, Orange Cassidy got fucking loud and angry. Was like, "Get up! Get in the damn ring right now!" And then fucking Statlander got in immediately, and it was great.
How did we go back on a match?
Because I'm bringing up the fact that the fucking 10 count happened at 9 3 times in this pay-per-view alone. I'm just saying, I pay attention. Contrary to popular fucking belief. So what's the next match?
Yeah, so I'm paying attention to the time.
Lucha Brothers are the champions.
We're all off tomorrow. Besides Cannon.
Look, I'm the only one that's working. I don't want to hear anybody bitching. Fuck y'all.
We're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with you soon. Hang tight.
everyone, and welcome back to the AEW All Out retrospective review, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We have been having a fantastical time, and now we are about to talk about the next match, which was initially going to be the buy-in, but technically wasn't the buy-in, but this was the All Out Casino Battle Royale, pretty much, yeah. And it was a all women's affair this time, and it was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
lot of women were thrown over the top rope.
A lot of people
battle royals work
going fast. It was just going fast.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for how fast some wrestlers were knocked out of the ring. I mean, granted, especially a lot of the ones that were mostly on dark, it makes sense. But
but even Riho was eliminated very quickly.
I don't feel like she got any spots.
No, she didn't.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm almost ashamed to admit this. But I knew she was in the match. I saw her entrance. I didn't see her get thrown out. I had no fucking clue.
I could not. I assume maybe it was Nyla Rose. 'Cause I feel like the three women this match helped the most was Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, and Ruby Soho, who made her debut during this match.
Oh man, Ruby Soho, formerly Ruby Riott in the WWE, and
FKA Ruby Riott, FKA Heidi Lovelace.
I'm just saying from what I've known her as, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Are you fucking close personal friends with Ruby Soho? Is that what you're
No,
I've
watched her for a few years before she went to WWE.
I mean, that's cool. I don't remember the exact takeover, but the takeover that she debuted in NXT, when she took a killer bump off of the top rope straight to the floor, nobody caught her. She landed flat on her fucking ass, but she still kept fucking going, and that's when I was like, you know what? You go, girl.
There's a reason why one of her epithets was the punk rock ragdoll in the Indies, because she'll just take a licking and just be thrown around, be beat to hell, but she'll come right back. And her coming back was kind of like a known, a pretty solid assurance. But then when she came out, it was like, holy shit, Ruby is here, and she did a phenomenal job. Her team up at the end with Thunder Rosa, they did a great job with each other. Did a great job against each other. I can't wait to see her perform, and the fact that she won on her debut night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I even though I'm glad it happened, I didn't see that coming. I thought
Thunder Rosa was going to win, and then Ruby just get a great showing and have her debut.
I did call Ruby Soho winning on the CM Punk special.
You did, but even though Thunder Rosa deserved it.
I feel like my only thing is I feel like the Thunder Rosa program already writes itself. I don't feel like Thunder Rosa needed the Battle Royal win. Which, granted, you can argue Ruby Soho didn't either because she's such a big name and she didn't really need it. But I feel like this really hot shots her into that program. And even if Ruby Soho loses to Britt Baker, which I think she will, it's not like a huge loss for her because it won't really hurt her because she is who she is.
But why not give it to Thunder Rosa, who, me personally feels like should have won that damn thing in the first place. I'm saying that as a Ruby Soho fan. I'm just saying. And then use that to build up Ruby's first feud in AEW with Thunder Rosa. And even though she can just be like, you know what, I'm still getting a title match. I mean, if you still want to fight, we can do it. But you know what? I won the thing. But Ruby won, and you know what? I'm still okay with that. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not happy with it at all. Her small little vignettes that she's been doing before her debut have been fantastic, and I'm glad she's there. I've wanted her to be there, and she's there.
She did a great job. And now I do want to ask Colton Wenzel for were there any women that you saw during the Battle Royal that you're introduced to that's like, okay, I like her, I want to find out more about her, I like what she did?
Why are you being so weird about it right now, Colt?
Hi,
you're amongst friends here. It's fine.
Hi, Thunder Rosa. Hi, Hikaru Shida. Those are the two standouts.
Yeah, and before Britt Baker, Sheeta was the champion.
Yeah, she was a champion.
She's
Britt
all
Baker-
through
already been
COVID,
champion.
which she deserved better. But, you can't help a global pandemic.
Yeah.
I thought they were really fun. I like them. The little bit that I did see, I thought they were cool.
Yep.
What'd you think of Abaddon?
Abaddon was very fun, actually. I was a really big fan of how she was just a demon in the ring.
Yeah. She actually had she, for as far as I know, has sporting somewhat of a new look tonight. Abaddon
Yeah,
was
her Battle Hawk, which I
Yeah.
loved it. And the
pretty
fact
good.
that-
Like, her entrance in AEW, like, on Dynamite was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
she called in like a monster, just like gushing like blood out of her mouth.
As-
The Living Dead girl, she's one of my favorites, and I was very disappointed she was the second to be eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, she made her mark, I think.
Yeah, especially the opening thing where she just whips her head
Definitely
around.
got her spots in more than like probably half of the women that got eliminated from the match very quickly.
Yeah.
Like got more in than like a Riho or even a Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, I
like
don't
both
feel like-
former women champions in AEW. Like Abaddon probably got like her spot in more, and people will remember her more than the other two
Yeah.
and several others.
She had a very specific spot that I thought was really cool and simple and effective, and it fit the character of Abaddon. She simulated where she snapped her own neck because she was staring down one opponent in the ring, and there just so happened to be another opponent right across from her. And then Abaddon simulated herself snapping her own neck and like immediately turned her neck to the other person and then attacked her. I thought that was really fucking cool. I'd never seen anything like that in wrestling. I thought that was neat.
She's a favorite, and I hope that she gets like more time to showcase like her skill and like her character.
And as a huge fan of like, as far as like WWE is concerned, I know WrestleMania is like their big event. That's their Super Bowl. But I have always been prone to the Royal Rumble. At least in wrestling terms, I feel like the Royal Rumble match is still the one match that feels like anything can happen at once. And I do kind of like AEW's take on it, like, well, on the Battle Royal in general, instead of like a single person coming in at questionable minute and a half intervals, but instead just like a group of 5, right? Like each suit of cards is like 5 different participants, and they just bring them all in at once. And you know what? It's kind of like an abridged, like a shorter, quote unquote, Rumble style match. I dig it. I like how they do that.
Yeah.
It gives them like their flavor to it, and like a match that's kind of like popularized by WWE. But it was quick and it was fun, and I'm glad Ruby had her moment, and then how she's like now officially all elite. She's with the company now. We're just gonna see more for her going forward.
Her gear looks cool. Her hairdo looks rad.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. She doesn't have to wear fucking extensions anymore.
Which was so jarring. But moving right along, we're going to the next match, which is the cap-off feud between Chris Jericho and MJF. Jericho, after losing 3 times to MJF, is trying to get his one final victory over him. And if he doesn't win, he will retire from in-ring performance in AEW. So what do we think of this match going in?
I was not looking forward to this match. I think in storyline it was very stupid for Jericho to. It very much felt like the SpongeBob, like, when are you going to learn, old man? Because MJF had already beaten him 3 times. I'm like, why?
Honestly, I don't think he should have beaten him the
No,
third time.
no,
like,
I
like
honestly
the fact
think-
that MJF made him tap, I thought was really stupid.
I honestly think the final labor of Jericho should have been this match. And whatever, we'll see where it goes. But I feel like the final labor of Jericho should have been this match.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And like you can still have MJF win because MJF very much seems like the top heel they are wanting to push, especially with how young he is, being 25 years old, and already being at near the top of the card and having wins over like Cody and Jericho already. I wasn't looking forward to it, but like I have pretty enjoyed Old Man Jericho this year. And I usually don't enjoy MJF's in-ring work. This match was kind of a low-key banger. I
100%
enjoyed
agree.
it.
I was so invested in this match. I was like, it was like a weird. It was kind of like, man, I'm feeling bad for this man. He's so old and he looks like he's hurting himself really bad. But whenever in the match, whenever they actually miscount and do a 3 count, whenever his boot was on the rope, I was like, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. He was on the rope, and I was so fucking frustrated. And I was so relieved whenever they called that back.
You know, like I'm gonna bring this one back around because there's this little like tidbit in wrestling that I want to like ask you and Wenzel about to see what your take is, because you saw a lot of them tonight, and I want to let you know. But I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit with Tanner here. I was like, and I'm actually kind of shocked that I'm like, in the year of our Lord 2021, I'm fucking excited for a Chris Jericho match. All right, like, first of all, I have to preface this by saying MJF. I think MJF is fan-fucking-tastic at what he does. He is great at making you hate every drop of blood that pumps through his veins. He's a great bad guy. He gets the business. He is always in full fucking kayfabe, like even like meeting fans, just flipping off little kids. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. It's great. That being said, he did have 3 victories over Chris Jericho. Do I believe this match was necessary? No. Do I believe that a fucking MJF loss was necessary? Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, for the love of God, I get what they're doing. He is the, like, and a lot of times, like, there's a few times he's playing like the chicken shit heel. Like, he cheats to win. He checks all the fucking boxes and what you want for a bad guy in wrestling. And it's great. He does a fucking fantastic job. That being said, he does such a good job about it, I want him to fucking get his ass whooped.
Yeah.
And he finally got hit. Again, Jericho has been in wrestling so long that if he would have lost this match, I wouldn't have been surprised. I really wouldn't have. That being said, Jericho has always been like one of the rare like chameleons of wrestling. He can pretty much take anything he wants and he just turns it into gold. Like, in every company he's been, he has done like fantastic work, like all across the board, and I will not hear any ifs, ands, or fucking buts about that. He even took the little bits he had in WCW, even though he fucking hated it there, and like just polished so many little pellet-sized turds.
If nothing else, Jericho's like his longevity is deserved because he's always like, however people like enjoy it, like he's always found a way to stay afloat, stay relevant in wrestling. And the fact that he's had a physical career this long, like he's still having like a pay-per-view level match.
Well, also, like, he wrestled a death match against Nick Gage 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, and
Crazy.
it was good.
Yeah,
like,
it was really good.
It was not like, oh, Jericho's an old man, don't hurt him, Nick. Like, Jericho took light tubes.
Yes.
On national television.
And Jericho's doing stuff that men of his age should not be doing.
100%.
Like some of the more like acrobatic shit. I'm like, holy fuck.
And just earlier this year when he was thrown off a cage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To the ground.
Or like when he wrestled Juventud, doing the top rope Judas effect.
Yeah.
I did not think Jericho was physically capable of making that motion off the top rope.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't believe it.
Like, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but there was one time when he attempted his lion salt springboard off the rope, and he looked like he didn't make a full rotation, and I thought he was going to land on his noggin, and it wasn't fucking good at all.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like I said, he's still like making his name in a business that he has been in for several years now.
Yeah, while not being afraid to put other younger wrestlers
Yeah.
over too.
Because that's why I was fine when Jericho lost the final labor because obviously MJF, regardless of how people feel, he's a major name going forward. He's one of the new upcoming heels, and for Jericho to have his story career as he has, he's definitely one who's willing to put over the newer crowd. And but I was fine. Jericho, this loss doesn't end him. Like, he's still gonna be around and do shit. But I was fine with that story ending there. And while that definitely feels like an unnecessary artificial extension of that story, we still had a great time. We were still cheering when Jericho, got the match restarted and he finally tapped out MJF, and we had a great time. And like this shows like the strength, the skills that both of them have.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but Colt did bring this up earlier. The match did end. I guess quote unquote ended. Aubrey Edwards, the referee in the match, counted the 3, but Jericho's foot was on the rope at 2.5, which, if your foot is on the rope, that means the count is broken in the rules of wrestling. Like, well, that's not. And then, like, a referee had to come in and tell Aubrey Edwards that, whoa. I mean, I'm just letting you know. Jericho's foot was on the ropes. And then, of course, they restarted the match. And, oh, God damn it. When Jericho got that sweet goddamn win over fucking MJF, would y'all say that was probably? I don't know. We probably got very rowdy during the. I know we got rowdy during the Bucks and the Lucha Bros match, but I know. I'm sorry. I really wanted. I'm wearing a goddamn Jericho shirt right now. I would everybody that wore the shirt of the person in the show tonight, their person won.
Yep.
Yeah.
Patrick wore Lucha Brothers. I wore Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman showed up, did a run-in, and fucking
pinned Omega for the
won
AEW.
against Fuego, and it was a fucking it was a 3.5-star match. It probably would have been 5.5 in the Tokyo Dome, but yeah, I thought it was great. I'm glad fucking Jericho won because I still want to see him do some things.
I probably would have cried if he lost, honestly. I have no attachment to this man. It's like one of the first times I've watched him wrestle, but I definitely would have cried.
It's one of my wrestling dads, pretty much.
I thought Hey, don't do that.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing, Tanner?
I kicked the mic.
He's trying to saboteur on Wenzel.
I thought it would be so fucking funny if to have all this hype and then he does lose and it's like, well, you can't do wrestling again, get out. Like I don't know why. Like it was just like it was like, please for the love of God, it'd be so fucking funny if this guy lost. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
and then MJF, like you said, he is the villain. Fucking so funny.
Yeah.
Like that was so like at some point he had Jericho and then he used Jericho's like hand to pretend like jerking off his air dick.
Yeah,
like,
that was fun.
Like,
that was a good
fucking
bit.
Good.
Yeah, and this isn't even peak MJF either.
I mean,
Yeah.
he even took Jericho's belt and rubbed it between his cheeks. Like, that's funny.
Disrespectful.
Yeah,
Disrespectful.
that is just like, as they say in the business, cheap heat.
And now I will say when he did that, I was booing. I was like, "No, you fucker!"
Yeah, but it was effective though. Like sometimes little things like that are simple, but effective. Like MJF, like he can do a little thing like that, but he is also very good on the mic. He can verbally destroy anybody he sees fit. I will say that.
I am glad though Jericho did win because after everybody told us how much he had lost to this guy, I was like
3 times.
I was like, man, maybe he does need a win.
There's literally a shirt on Shop AEW that says Jerablow 0 MJF 3.
I know.
Fuck
I thought
you.
that was just going to be for a bit, but wow,
I
they're
thought it was.
actually selling it. They're
I'm
actually selling
shocked.
it.
It is $25 on Shop AEW.
All of their shirts for the most part are $25.
Yeah, but
Except for the $30 ones.
yeah,
Or the
all their shirts are
$40 ones.
Besides the ones that are more.
You know what? They have one with Malachi Black, who wasn't on the card, unfortunately.
He did a promo.
I mean, he did do a promo, but he didn't wrestle.
But he can be on Dynamite where he fights Dustin.
Yeah. But he has a shirt where he is pinning. I didn't get a really good shot of it, but it looks like he is doing his 1-foot pin on. It's obviously from the Cody match that he had, but it is a skeleton instead of Cody. But yeah, but it's also $30. So, like I said, I mean, I can't even buy the shirts I want to buy there because I get an error message every time. I'm not even trying to buy a Punk right now. I'm trying to buy an Eddie Kingston and a Miro shirt and a a shirt I can't name yet because we
also
haven't started talking about
I'm
it.
also waiting for the shirt we can't name.
I'm
It-
so
it's
trying.
Still, it's still
I am
not
looking.
on the shop.
I am looking every and my phone's about to die, so somebody's gonna have to tell me when the shirt that I can't talk about pops the fuck up on ProWrestlingTees.com, AEW.shop /
If I had to guess,
give me the shirt.
they're waiting for the All Out promo code to expire so people buy it at full price.
But that's weird. Like when I was looking, like they still had the Labor Day code, but then like somewhere in the shuffle they switched to the All Out promo code. I mean, all of their promos are 20% off. Like, hey, if you want to shop while you're watching Dynamite, it's 20% off. Hey, you want the pay-per-view, it's 20% off. All of it is 20% off all the time. You want to shock me? Fucking 40% off. Even though it'll never happen. But still, I'm trying to buy some shirts, and you won't even let me buy your shirts. What I think, I'm sorry, that's just failure of programming, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Before we move on from MJF Jericho,
Okay.
just real quick, what did we, as the room, think about this rendition of Judas, of the guy just playing the melody on the guitar?
Is that the guy from the band? I just
don't
assumed
know.
it was the guy from the band.
I mean, that's what I thought.
Because Fozzie's
probably-
played 2 shows in Illinois in the past, in the 2 days on Friday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah, it would have to be that guy.
I would assume it was the Fozzie guitarist. It was fine.
I will assume that it was a member of Fozzy that did that. I mean, it's just me. Like, I don't know personally. I've never been to a Fozzy show. I've never looked at the the lineup.
Other
of the
than
names.
like Jericho.
Yeah, like Jericho. Contrary, Fozzy's been around since his fucking Fed days.
Yeah.
WWF before they got the F out. He's had this band. So. Yeah, Fozzie's, I'm pretty sure it has a list as long as fucking the Texas Hippie Coalition
Oh God.
of just ex-members and whatnot. But
because
you know what? That reminds me. I got to give a fucking shout out to fucking Ruckus, my buddy on Twitter. I still don't understand why you follow me there, but you know what? I'm glad you do, sir. And you did a fantastic job with Penta and Ray Phoenix's entrance tonight.
Yeah, that was
right
sick
now.
as fuck.
I love you, Ruckus. You are the Hiata.
I will say, when the Judas started, I was really into it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then as it went along, I was like, I kind of want the rest of the band.
Well, I will say there might be this weird tonal effect, some sort of delay between the speakers or whatnot. There's somebody playing the guitar bits live. There may or may not be a delay with the fucking actual sound that's coming through the speakers. And you also gotta hope to fucking God that you have a crowd that can keep a tempo. No disrespect to Chicago, of course.
Also know the words.
Also know the words, yes.
I think it's funny that people sang along better to Kazi ni Nare, a Japanese song, better than they did to Judas.
I feel like it's really weird because the last Jericho match, the whole gimmick of the match was there's no Judas allowed. And then he didn't come out to the vocalized version of Judas. He just wanted the crowd to sing it again. I feel like that was really stupid. That's just me personally. I would have just come out to a regular version of Judas. But because that song gets people hot, and just somebody playing the guitar and being like, all right, fans, sing it again.
It kind of makes you wonder why Tony Khan couldn't front the bill for another particular band.
Kind of makes me wonder why Tony Khan couldn't front the bill.
I mean, he could
and get Break the Walls down.
I mean, he can't because Vince McMahon is,
Buy Vince McMahon out.
Pat's telling us we got to wrap this up.
Vince McMahon's.
Needless to say, the MJF Jericho match was great, and I'm glad MJF fucking ate the shit out of that.
It was a great time. Thoroughly enjoyed the match. I hope this is the last time we see this match.
I was about to ask you, y'all think Jericho MJF wrestle again?
I hope not, at least for 2 years.
You hope not, but do you think they will? And
I think they
this year, a singles match?
No,
I think for Jericho's final match.
I've talked about it with them. I'm still shocked that fucking MJF and Cody haven't went back to their beginning feud when the early
Brother
days of
Cody's got
Dynamite.
too much to worry about. He's got a reality TV show.
I mean, this is true, but still, I feel like that feud at least it needed one more fucking match.
Honestly,
That's
as
just
far
me.
as like feuds, I felt that more than
Yeah.
necessarily the Jericho and MJF. Even though like the MJF one had much longer to develop because like,
you had Blood and Guts, you had Stadium Stampede, you had the 5 Labors of Jericho, you had a
and the thing is that story starts even before that.
Yeah.
with their tag team.
Yeah, when like MJF infiltrates the inner circle and shit like that.
Yeah.
Don't forget the night we were actually there when MJF and Chris Jericho had their first face-to-face, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and he called him what did he call him? A shithead, jerk off?
No, like, they both were just like, hey, it's like, you know who's up in the... And they both said, Cody Rhodes! And they both hugged, and it was great, and we were there live, and it was fucking hilarious. Somebody even animated that shit, and it was great.
Yeah, and I feel like this has been going on for like over a year. Like we can. Put a pause
like this
on
feud it needs to be nipped in the butt, and I hope this is the end of it. I really do.
I completely agree.
All right, and moving on to the next match, probably the most anticipated matchup of the night, and that is CM Punk versus Darby Allin. CM Punk's first official full match return to wrestling in over 7 years.
Yeah.
And I was, I have to say, it was a much more physical affair than I was expecting.
Yeah.
CM Punk and Long Boys.
He was
Yes.
wearing pants.
Yeah, like CM Punk in full-blown fucking pants.
I dig it.
I didn't hate it.
Also helps that he is in the best shape in probably 8 years. Like
When he's not dying of fucking MRSA.
yeah, like he looked healthy, which was weird.
And definitely a more slim tone physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was never chiseled or anything, even WWE. But definitely had a bit more mass.
He's
then.
been bigger. Yeah. He has been bigger.
Especially if you go back and watch his 2009 World Heavyweight Championship reign in WWE, he is much bigger there than he is now.
But I think this is a good size for him, and they put on a great match. Punk got the shit kicked out of him, and he got as many licks in as he took.
Yeah. I'm surprised he took as many bumps as he did, especially the kind of bumps he took. Obviously not wrestling, and I'm sure Punk has been training some. You can't just go from not wrestling for 7 years to be like, all right, I'm time to bump. So obviously you have that. But I'm shocked at some of the bumps he still took, especially Darby's suicide dive, taking that bump into the guardrail. I was just oh, he's for real back.
It's Punk's just I missed the pain. Bump me up.
I miss falling on concrete, brother.
and just all the great bits when he did when he was on the outside and Darby did the suicide dive, slide underneath the ropes and just like a bullet hits him.
Yeah.
Just the intensity was great and just going with the top rope. I was really just in awe that fucking Punk is existing in the wrestling ring again.
Yeah.
At all, and then him having this amazing competitive match. And even though Darby Allin lost, this just shines the light on Darby because literally he's the first person to have an actual match with Punk. So he is not diminished in any way by losing.
No, not at all.
That's why I was surprised when people were like, "Oh yeah, Darby has to win this match." I was like, "Does he?"
No,
because literally, even a loss helps Darby here. Whoever beats Punk first, it has to help. It does not help Darby to beat Punk at this point because Darby is already in that near main event status, where I couldn't even tell you right now who gets the first win over Punk. Because it needs to elevate somebody. Darby winning would not have elevated Darby because Darby is already near that top level.
And he doesn't fall down in any way by taking this loss. It's
no.
If anything, he's just he went toe to toe with Punk.
Yeah. If anything, this actually elevated his stock more than a win would have. Honestly.
Because people would have been upset because you can't have Punk come back after goddamn near a decade and lose.
You cannot pull a WWE and have Punk lose his first match in 7 years in his hometown.
No.
You can't do it.
No. That was the one thing, and it may be a little weird to kind of assume, but used to how Vince McMahon operates, there have been numerous times where he would make motherfuckers just like lose in their very own hometown. And
has happened as recently as this year.
Yeah, I know. It happens all the fucking time. And I knew for a mondo fucking fact that AEW was not going to let CM Punk eat his debut match in over 7 years in his home fucking town. There was no fucking way.
That place would have been nuked from orbit. Like there would be a crater.
It literally would have killed the crowd for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Like Punk losing. Like even though Darby was over and there was dueling chants for Darby and Punk, Darby going over Punk there would have killed the crowd for the rest of the show.
Also, like when you were saying like Darby doesn't necessarily need the win for this match, like I think Punk did.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, you did because Punk comes back for the first time in 7 years and he loses. Okay, whoop-de shit. He's an old guy people can beat now. Okay, great. Not to say that Punk's old, but he comes back as the veteran, a very beatable. Punk obviously is a huge investment for AEW. If I had to guess, probably a top 3 highest paying contract, if not the top paying contract in AEW, just for the fact of how hard it probably was to get him out to wrestle again.
Yeah.
You can't have Punk be all right, you're going to lose to Darby now, and you're going to lose to Jungle Boy in 2 weeks, and then you're going to lose to MJF, and you're just going to put everybody over. Even though I don't think Punk would mind that, just from an investment standpoint, it doesn't make sense. You kind of have to build Punk up, for your audience. You can't just accept WWE canon as Punk being the actual best in the world, even though they kind of are. As Punk being the best in the world, he has to prove it. He has to beat some people. Not to say he goes over everybody and he is this unbeatable god in AEW, but he has to go over some people. And going over somebody like Darby again doesn't hurt Darby, only helps Punk. Will probably help Darby in the long run when Darby eventually gets his AEW World Championship reign, which I think will happen.
Mm-hmm. When will you think that will happen?
Interesting.
I know that's really hard to say.
I would say within next 2 years.
If I'm booking right now, Hangman beats Kenny, MJF beats Hangman, Darby beats MJF.
I could see that.
Is it? And again, I love Darby Allin. In fact, I know a little dog named Darwin, and that is Darwin's favorite wrestler, is Darby Allin. Mm-hmm. But is it weird that I feel and I know there might be a time where he holds the big strap, the big, I think they call it big platinum is what Cody calls it at least. That beautiful fucking belt that they have. Goddamn, that AEW championship is so
35 pounds of
oh my god,
layered metal.
But is it weird that I feel if Darby ever gets it, it's going to be a short reign?
Well, also, I feel you could also do MJF beats Hangman for the belt, Punk beats MJF, and Darby eventually beats Punk for the belt. I feel you've kind of set that up.
Because
Punk, that wouldn't be bad, actually. Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Because when Punk said he came here to face the new crowd, and I feel he's definitely not afraid to put him over, and that'd be just a great call back to this first dance that they had.
Yeah.
You were my first entrance into the company, and then you're the one that dethroned me. I think he would be perfectly okay with that, because they are sort of analog to each other in a certain respect.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody listened to Punk's interview on Renee Young, the former Renee Young's podcast.
FKA Renee Young.
But he said he really wants to do a trios match teaming with Darby and Sting against who did he say? The Lucha Brothers and Fuego del Sol. That's one of his he wants to go full fantasy booker crazy WCW worldwide shit. And just have these crazy trio matches.
And I love that
would
though.
be
I love that.
sick.
We were talking about it earlier in the day, just the fact that Sting, when I started watching wrestling in 1998, Sting was there. He was the guy, and I've always loved Sting. And then 2005, 6 is when I was introduced to Punk, and then Darby Allin, love him. Just, the fact that all these fucking generations of wrestlers are just standing in the ring at the same time. Just little Cannon Jr. inside is just marking the fuck out. It's great.
We always say that Sting is Darby's father.
Yeah.
I feel like Punk is Darby's uncle. Like the cool uncle.
It's kind of like the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Yondu's like, I'm not your father, but I'm your daddy.
Yeah.
That's Sting to Darby.
Yeah.
I'm not your father, but I'm your daddy.
It's like, 'cause I love how he was transplanted from one father figure. He was like, oh, he's John Moxley's son. Now he's Sting's son.
Also, I don't know when I'll have an opportunity to ask you two about this, but Colt Wenzel, I want to ask you two about how do you feel about the phenomenon that are false finishes? Like, when a wrestler goes for a pinfall that you feel like, oh my God, this is it, and then they fucking kick out. How does that shit feel?
That's just
Like,
edging. It's just fucking edging. 100%.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I
It's
don't like
fucking
it.
Wrestling edging is what it is.
The thing is, I don't like it, but at the same time, I kind of like it. That's edging, and I don't like it.
Just let me know it, because like the Young Bucks are like, you know, good and bad about false finishes, especially with their Lucha Brothers match, because there's like at least 3 extremely close falls. It's just like, what the fuck? Stay down.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's not something I want all the time. Like, I think it's really cool to say for moments like this, like these big pay-per-views, because like you could say the same thing about the Young Bucks Omega Hangman match, where that felt like that went on for like an hour, but like it was still cool. But like if they did that shit like all the time on Dynamite, all the time on Rampage, I think I would get really annoyed.
But I mean, as much as I love AEW, they do that a lot on Dynamite. Like there's a lot of moves that are kicked out of that are you're just like no.
It should be. Yeah.
But I'm not saying that as a criticism. Like, you know what? AEW obviously takes more of the indie side of wrestling when it comes to what they do. Like, I'm right?
Well, yeah, look at the roots. I mean, the Young Bucks are in a position of power, arguably the most indie tag team of all time.
Yeah.
Whether you see that as a good or a bad thing, it's true. So, I mean...
It doesn't hurt that they're fucking great.
Sure,
They're synonymous with indie wrestling. Like, they were, like, one of the most recognizable teams.
I mean, they've been around forever at this point.
Oh,
yeah. So I think we were all excited for Punk's return, excited to see what he'll do next. And I think it'd be a good time to move on to the next match.
Yeah.
Patrick is literally setting timers for each match now.
Patrick's like 2 hours is too long.
I know I've mentioned this. Like,
It's
think
2
gonna be
a.m.
3.
It's
Let's
2
be real.
a.m. right now.
It is 2:07 a.m.
And considering that, like on our first time, long time movie episode where we went an hour on the first movie, like we got a little disproportionate in
That
there.
sounds like an AYCH problem, not a late takes or a Cajun greatness problem.
I'm still the only one here that has to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Cannon, I would
Well,
say.
wait. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. Still the only one that has to work today.
Yeah. In 6 hours.
Because Cannon, he commits to the bit and he turns and burns. And we
I
appreciate
am
that.
not. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I was gung ho for this. I knew what I was signing up for.
Well, we only have 2 more matches to post show, a media scrum, and all the Twitter
wait.
reactions.
2
to
more
go.
matches. So that must mean that the next match was
It's
no
Paul
match
White-
of the night.
Paul White
Paul.
versus QT Marshall.
Please introduce him correctly. No BS. Paul White
No BS.
versus
Paul
QT
Tall.
Marshall.
But
Paul
all right.
Paul.
who I could not have predicted that this was the penultimate match on this pay-per-view.
All right.
To me, this screams like very middle of the card, like enough time to give people like bathroom
This
breaks.
was the match before the main event.
I feel like it also makes sense though, because you don't want to do Darby Punk and Kenny Christian back to back, so you had to put a filler in there. And it probably came down to either this or the Battle Royal, and they're like, well, we really don't want the in-between match to be like a half hour.
Yeah,
So
but
let's go with no BS versus QT.
Because
but-
the best thing about this match was how fucking short it was.
you see, here's the thing.
And even then, it went a little too long.
Here's the thing, because I was going to ask y'all how this one went down. Because do you want to know how? Do you want to know my experience with this match was?
You were on the show.
I started this as a bit earlier in the night, and I was just joking around with Tanner because Tanner had the foolish fucking notion that this was going to be match of the night for some goddamn reason.
It was a bit, but was it?
Nah, you don't. I don't know. Some hard. I mean, as someone who commits to the bit, that was some hardcore commitment to a bit. But at the same time, my gut wasn't feeling too good at the moment, so I went to the potty. And I will say it was a false alarm. I just had gas. I just tooted once, and I promptly got off the toilet. And then I went to the kitchen to grab beer, and then I heard that No BS Paul Wight hit a choke slam and pinned QT Marshall 1, 2, 3. And ladies and gentlemen, I didn't see a fucking moment of this match.
Okay. How long do y'all think this match went?
3 minutes.
Honestly, as someone who didn't see any of it, I'll give a rough estimate. 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
7 minutes.
I'm going to say around 5.
3 minutes 15.
Wenzel, you want to take a guess?
No.
No BS. Paul
Wenzel's
Wight.
ready to go. He's over
Marshall.
this shit.
I didn't care.
It went.
about it.
It went 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So Colt was the closest.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know what?
Well, the thing is,
Congratulations.
I was the closest, and
You were closest. Yes.
I was the one that actually thought it was fun. I actually really liked it.
I mean, I
love
have no
the
horse
match.
in this race. I didn't see a fucking lick of it. I was.
3 and a quarter.
I
3
really
and a quarter.
enjoy watching big man take tiny man and throw him. That's
And
really
QT
fun.
Marshall is not a tiny guy. Big Show is
No.
just
He's not
really big.
He is the most fit version of Charlie Sheen I've ever seen in my entire life.
And I
The
honestly,
bowling shirts. I'm sorry.
I could
He
watch
wears bowling shirts.
Big
a lot.
Show throw tiny men for probably another 30
No
minutes.
fucking way. That was like so. I hated that. That was so bad.
I don't know why nobody. Everybody acts like it's the
Shake my
worst
hand,
thing they've
Wenzel.
ever seen.
No.
I don't understand the hatred for it.
Oh, okay. I will say some of this is preemptively us going into this because the lead up to this match is the most cringe-inducing, like eye-rolling. Oh my god!
Did the Gun Club even have any involvement in this?
No.
They weren't even there.
Then what was the fucking point of what they did on fucking Rampage?
Because the Gun Club had to turn heel.
But why?
Austin Gunn is undefeated on AEW.
Everyone
Dark and
knows.
Elevation.
Everyone knows that the only one that is allowed to turn heel whenever they see fit is No BS Paul Wight. And the fact that
Listen to his name,
No
No
BA
BS.
Billy Gunn fucking took that away from him.
No.
I feel that's a little bit selfish. I'm just saying.
No, Big Show could turn face and heel at a drop of a dime.
Paul
Paul Wight is no BS.
That's his gimmick, though.
No BS.
It's no BS, not no gimmick change.
BS
not
stands
no
for-
GC. It's no BS.
Here's a little insider tip. BS stands for Big Show and bullshit.
What? It's layers.
well,
It's like
Get
an
it?
ogre. It
New
has
room,
layers.
new view.
You know, now don't get me wrong. I think like big guy throwing little guy, around.
big
is-
guys throwing a smaller big guy around.
Yeah, like that's cool. But
But
like,
just doesn't understand art.
no, it's just that Paul Wight. It's just no personality, no character. Now the Luchasaurus, Luchasaurus had a lot of character and personality.
I think that's
I really
also
enjoyed.
the charm of it, is because I'm picturing a random old white man that's huge just throwing
his
around
character.
big men.
Funny.
That's
He's 7
funny.
feet
That's
tall.
fun.
to preface to give like the most abridged version of Paul Wight's history that I can. He's been in the business since 1996. Yes.
Or actually a little before then, so like 95.
Yeah, he's got to start in WCW in '96. That was a big promotion when the Monday Night Wars. I'll explain that to you one day, Wenzel.
It's like sex.
But better.
It's the
no, I'm
birds
not
and the
kidding.
bees.
no, it's not better than sex. But Paul Wight has been in the business for a long time. I'm not saying I'm glad he is collecting a check in AEW. I didn't see the match. I have no fucking stake in this race. I didn't see it.
probably
It
found it on
was a
Twitter.
fun match. It went 3 minutes. Literally, you have to actively try for a match to be bad in 3 minutes. This was a fine, good match.
But why was it the match? Why
It
did
was
they,
a good in between for your two hottest contests, which you knew what was going to be.
I get where Tanner's coming from because like
as like a cooler match because like
You needed that cooldown.
because like you can tell by this point like as stellar and packed as this card was, like when we get to the main event, which we will in just a second, like people they were tired of that because like this was boring. It's just like because they were just worn out.
And they had been going hard as shit at this point for 3.5 hours. Because it's 10 o'clock by the time Paul Wight and QT Marshall started.
But also, AEW is assuming that their fan base, at least in Chicago, have the strongest bladders in the world. Because they waited until the match before the main event for the piss break match.
I'm not even saying it's a piss break match. I'm saying it's a match you can sit down and kind of just like relax a little.
It's the
I mean, that's fair.
It's the seventh inning stretch of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a glorified squash match.
That's exactly what it was.
I needed it to look at my phone.
I literally went to the bathroom, and that wasn't even for a bit. Like, I literally had to go to the bathroom when this match came on. And then I went to grab a beverage, and it was fucking over.
And it was good. 3 1/4.
Which is shorter than that actual segment was, but
get to the main event because that's
did we talk about the match longer than the match actually went?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we did actually.
It was like 7 minutes.
You idiots!
All right, now this is the final contest of the night, which is Christian Cage going up against the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega in the final contest. Like I will say, at this point, I was tired too. It's just like, but it was still a solid match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all think this was better or worse than the Rampage match?
I like the Rampage match better.
Yeah, I think I did too.
All right. I have always hated the kill switch as a move, even when it was called the Unprettier. That is a ugly fucking move. It's disgusting looking.
Some say unpretty.
That's not why it's called that.
I don't know.
It's called that because they drive their face into the mat and it makes their face unpretty.
I don't know.
I will say I like
exactly
the kill
why
switch
it's
as a
called
name
that.
better than Unprettier.
Who can say?
I can because I was there.
Who can say?
Anyway, the only good-looking Unprettier that I've ever seen was the one that Christian executed on Kenny Omega. Rampage?
Yeah.
On
the chair.
On a chair. On a fucking chair, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was great.
I was sick.
Other than that move has never looked good. And never.
I gotta disagree with you there.
Don't worry, we're gonna get to disagreements here in a little bit, son. Don't fucking worry.
I don't even know what we are gonna disagree with about.
No, don't worry. I'm glad we're recording for this. Oh man, this is for. The match was great.
Fight.
Christian Cage put on a performance that I was not even expecting. Actually, I thought he did a fantastic job.
No, he definitely took some punishment, and that was before they went through the table and the legs busted through the table and gashed him in the ribs. That was a pretty nasty.
Gnarly. Yeah.
I think they worked the Rampage match more of a TV style main event, if you will. They definitely the more methodical pace and definitely with the really hot finish. Where this match kind of seemed like all killer, no filler, where they immediately, like Christian within the first 30 seconds of the match, went for the splash on the outside, 2 broken tables, guardrail spots, outside interference, all that jazz. So I feel like this match was definitely we're going to throw bombs at each other the whole match. I'm constantly going to go for the kill switch. You're constantly going to go for the one-ringed angel. Yeah. I think I prefer this match to the Rampage match. It's very close, very, very close. I think both matches are great, and I did not think on paper that Christian versus Kenny Omega was a good matchup just because for how Kenny works and how Christian works.
They're two completely different personalities.
Yes. That's one of the things I was worried about going into this match, and that is coming from we've already seen these two wrestle before, but I have to agree with Tanner. Like this match was better than their Rampage match. I at least I feel.
I think it was definitely more like consistent match. Like Tanner was saying, the Rampage one was more methodically paced.
Yeah,
but I just love that emotional high of Christian getting the impact time.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah,
and I think that's why that one for me is more memorable, even if this match had better wrestling.
It also helps that Christian Cage is one of the best TV style wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed. Yeah.
legitimately, nobody. I mean, Rey Mysterio is probably the only person I'd put ahead of him that works a TV style match better than Christian. And Rey Mysterio is one of the fucking goats. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it's also like, not to jump ahead, but it's also like the match also kind of gets overshadowed by what happens after the match too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't even remember what happened.
But
I mean, hell,
Because I mean, Pat kind of went through the match. I mean, it was I don't want to say meat and potatoes,
since
but
we're
like
talking about like people who can put on like a perfect television match, let's not talk about Mr. Monday Night, who was not on this pay-per-view, RVD. But then again, he could put on a great match no matter what fucking show he was on.
I mean, just with
at the time.
Yeah,
just with
before
Kenny,
1998, I agree.
I would after. What are you talking about? Some of his best matches was after 1998. You are a fucking fool if you believe otherwise.
oh no,
I am not. No, don't worry. We're not getting to the fact where and if y'all don't back me up, I'm gonna yell at y'all too.
Wait, I totally forgot
Don't
about
worry, we'll get there. It involves this match.
I'm so because I have no idea what it is.
Oh, don't worry. That's why I haven't brought it up yet. I'm a big fan of the surprise entrance.
like, but with Christian and Kenny, they had
It was great.
a great match. I was surprised when Christian took the fucking super one wing angel. Like, I wasn't expecting that to be the finish.
Yeah, was not expecting
No,
Kenny
yeah.
to hit a super one-winged angel at all.
Yeah.
Like, especially since nobody in AEW has kicked out of the one-winged angel.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's just like the natural counter to Kenny countering the super kill switch into a super one-winged angel.
Yeah.
And plus, Christian was the first person to hand Kenny Omega a loss in an AEW ring, and I think they said 18 months when he beat him on Rampage, which is kind of crazy to think about. So it makes sense that he would want to put, I mean, like a, exclamation point on it in Christian.
Yeah, and I meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about the tag match between the Bucks and the Lucha Bros, but back in the day, like I was a huge fan of hardcore wrestling. I was a big fucking fan of it. I guess like back then I didn't really understand like what the participants were putting their bodies through, right? Because like, fast forward, a couple of years ago, like I'm in my 30s now. I'm 33, and I'm watching like for example, I showed Liz the Royal Rumble I Quit match between The Rock and Mankind, where Mankind got hit like 16 fucking times in the head with a chair, and I'm watching the match. Like I watched it when it happened. And like even then I was just like, no, you should have. But like as I grow up and I'm watching more of these violent matches that go on, I'm just like, oh God, oh no. It's just it becomes a little harder to watch depending on like I guess the match, I suppose. I don't know if that's just me like becoming a weenie, but Jesus Christ.
I mean, like we saw the Nick Gage documentary on Dark Side of the Ring. Like he literally could have died. And he did.
He did die.
He did die.
And tournament of
he
death.
did. Yes. Yeah.
So like, obviously there's like a level of gore and spectacle that's can be like reach a kind of critical mass. But I think it's a good point to get to the aftermath of the main event.
All right. No, but before we
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
The ghoul.
Before we
The
talk
Fiend.
about when Bray Wyatt introduced, do you remember a moment in the show when Don Callis started like waving some people in to like help out during the match? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember who he waved in?
It was
Carl Anderson and
Luke
and
Gallows.
and Luke Gallows, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They waved them in.
Oh yeah. Okay,
All right,
now
so-
I remember.
Okay, so Tanner, I am sorry. I'm not sorry. I finally got the opportunity to bring this up. So, what?
I'm hitting pause on this segment because this is happening right now.
I don't
okay?
even
Yes,
know what
it's
it's
happening
about.
right now, and y'all are just gonna have to get over it. Patrick told me at one point in history that you called the third match between Ciampa and Gargano the worst thing that happened in professional wrestling that year, correct?
Which match would it have been?
It was their very final match.
It was their last.
Oh,
their
the one from
cinematic
last
match.
year? Yeah, it was the worst thing that happened in wrestling last
Okay,
year.
I'm going to tell you right now, you
One
have
final heartbeat my ass.
never been more goddamn wrong in your entire life when the Good Brothers did Talking Shop a Goddamn Mania.
No.
Something that Pat here paid good goddamn hard-earned money for that we all sat through. And how fucking dare you?
Tanner, I got a question. Did you watch Talking Shop
I have
Mania?
not. I would not subject myself to that, but there's no way anything on that show is worse than one final.
Well, guess what? You're fucking wrong.
No way.
You're fucking wrong.
I forgot to plug up, because we had it on my laptop plugged up to the TV. I forgot to plug up my charger for my laptop. During the final match, my laptop died.
And we just gave the fuck up, Tanner.
We were just like, thank fucking Christ. It was, Tanner, it was so bad.
It was.
But I don't know if you can call that wrestling.
I mean,
It's kind of like bits.
No.
I mean, granted, Tanner does have a point there.
That's like, you know,
Matt-
Braun Strowman is doing a Fight TV pay-per-view. That's Braun Strowman versus EC3.
Yeah, but EC3 already did that shit before. He's just bringing in Braun Strowman.
Yeah, and they're both bad wrestlers, so it doesn't matter. Is it really professional wrestling? Probably not, but who cares? It just let these big dudes do whatever they want. Who gives a shit? It's like that. Whereas One Final Heartbeat had a WWE level production budget behind it, and it was absolute dog shit trash. It was so bad. Triple H and Shawn Michaels ruin NXT. That's why it's getting taken away from them. So somebody can actually manage it and train students to not look at their hands and be like, "Why am I so violent?
You know
why
what?
am I so violent?"
You know what? I'm not arguing the fact that NXT is going straight to shit and Vince McMahon is slowly Thanos snapping his entire company out of existence.
Sure.
But that's not the argument. You were wrong about a thing. And you were very fucking wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong about it.
That's fucking... Look, okay.
Because, again, I would
Actual
never
wrestling matches happened on that fucking thing. Did they happen in the backyard? Yes. But do GCW matches happen in the backyard? Of course they do. A lot of big matches happen in the backyard.
Only the GCW 4th of July show happens in the backyard. And that's because that show is specifically a backyard theme show.
Yeah, I know. You're fucking related to, like, the owner's second cousin. It's fine. But that's not the point. You were fucking wrong. You said that was the worst thing in wrestling. As people who watched that match, did the third match need to happen? No. Was it the worst thing in fucking wrestling that happened that year? No. Watch Talking Shop-A-Mania and prove yourself wrong.
Again, I've been in wrestling long enough where I know not to subject myself to garbage. And
yet you love the Goldberg Undertaker match in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, because it's really good.
No, it's not good.
Unfortunately, I did not.
That's a fucking
I did not
disgrace.
heed the warning with Ciampa Gargano. Did not heed the warning that people told me it was dog shit. I watched it. It was dog shit. Talking Shop Mania, I knew it was going to be dog shit because I don't like Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows anyways as
That's
professional
fair.
wrestlers.
That's
so
fair.
I knew it was going to be dog
I
shit.
get that.
So if I don't watch it, it doesn't exist to me. Gargano Ciampa, though, easily the worst mainstream product thing that happened last year.
No, you're
Easily, because Talking Shop Mania was
wrong.
not mainstream. How many buys do you think it did? 500
wrong.
maybe.
Who buys anything? It was the goddamn WWE network. Nobody bought a fucking NXT pay-per-view, you dumb shit.
Well, yeah, but think about it. At that point,
This
probably
is
One
It's
point-
not even the argument right now.
1.1 million people were subbed to it. No way 1.1 million even know what Talking Shop Mania is.
When you haven't watched the worst thing that happened in wrestling last year,
I have.
then you can talk.
Gargano Ciampa.
No, it wasn't.
One Final
We watched
Heartbeat.
it. It was Talking Shop
The
Mania.
worst editing I've ever seen in a professional wrestling match.
That's still inaccurate. Talking Shop Mania. Watch it.
I'm not, but
Okay,
Yeah, I know you're
okay.
not.
Let's
Big
get this
fan.
back on track.
We still have to get to the aftermath.
Oh shit! The main event. Yeah, the main. the
Yeah,
aftermath.
we're still doing that. Isn't that
Yeah.
funny?
Oh god.
talking about AEW.
Fuck you, Pat. I work tomorrow. I don't give a fuck.
But yes, there
Cannon's about to leave for work right
I
now.
am. I will go to work right goddamn now. I don't give a fuck.
there's still a little bit more to go on the outcome of that match because Elite, they come in, they start whipping Tushy, they start like messing with the
Tushy.
downtrodden Christian Cage, and then it's like, oh yeah, we beat him up, we got all these guys out here, we're king shit, and Kenny starts talking shit. But what should happen in the middle of his promo? But the lights go out. And who pops back up when the lights come back on?
Super Dragon.
Wait a minute. Let me wait. We actually measured my a mouth to mic measurement for this exact moment. Hold on. Adam Cole, baby.
I was watching the peaks on that one.
Yeah,
so
was
Adam
everything red? That's what I was shooting for.
It definitely licked with the red over there.
I mean, like
John's
I said,
gonna
this
edit
mic
it
is
out.
not the best for podcasting. I'm not gonna lie.
it's definitely a singing microphone.
I will say that Cannon did do a little dance that got him mauled by a little baby.
Yeah, this is the point when you were concerned for the well-being of our house.
Yes. This first person popped out, Adam Cole. Everyone was fucking jumping up. A lot of people were happy, jumping, standing, stomping. Cannon was the most hype of everyone, obviously.
I did say,
like Cannon got the Holy Ghost dance.
like I did. I got the Holy Ghost fucking wiggly leg dance. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I told myself, as someone who like as far as I knew, somebody else was confirmed to be there. But as far as I knew, this person wasn't. And when Adam fucking Cole showed up, I lost my mind. And Darwin bit me on the fucking knee. I still have a mark there.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like, he's actually bitten me before. It was strangely enough, you were in a wrestling match with Trey at one point.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was a referee and Darwin bit me.
Interference.
And didn't he bite you during CM Punk debut?
Yeah, he bit him then too.
No. I don't think he bit me during. He definitely bit me when I freaked out during Adam Cole's debut. Oh, I lost my shit. I'm so fucking happy. Goddamn. I've never been more happy to be a wrestling fan in my life. Holy shit.
And so Adam Cole came to the ring, and you think he's about okay. Oh no, Christian.
Oh, no.
And, let me help you out. And then like psych bitch hits him, and then he reunites with the Young Bucks. He's back with the Elite. Back when they were still in the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Also, like, Adam Cole and Young Bucks were Mount Rushmore 2.0 in PWG and, like, had, like, a ton of iconic trios matches in PWG. So, like, the history is there, and, like, Adam Cole just super kicking. I don't even remember who he super kicked for. Jungle Boy, I think.
I think it was, yeah.
Super kick Jungle Boy. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
I was going to say, like, I knew he was coming, but at the same time, like.
To see it happen.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm just like, I know he could be a solo venture, but I knew he had to align himself with somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because AEW is sort of like, this is going to sound weird and nobody's probably going to understand this that's here, but it's sort of like Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate is a wrestling promotion in Japan that is very heavy on factions. AEW is very heavy on factions. Probably the most heavy on factions I've ever seen in an American wrestling company, easily.
WCW.
So the fact that like everybody kind of has to align themselves with somebody, like, but Adam Cole aligning himself with the Elite and giving the Elite like two like head honchos with Adam Cole and Omega, like is like I gotta respect Big Tony. I don't know if that's what I would have done, but I gotta respect Big Tony for
The
it.
precedent is there, and like obviously. Like Adam Cole, he does his best work as a heel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like, I feel like it seemed like a natural fit for him to reingratiate himself with this team, and it worked well. And you think like, oh, they're wrapping it up again. Adam Cole, he's the big reveal. But hold on, there's more.
This is where I was actually actively worried, looking around the room, seeing if like things in the floor wasn't bending or anything.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you looking out.
I felt like the floor was going to cave in at any moment with
It
everybody
felt like
jumping up and down.
Stampede of Wildebeest.
I took a bump.
Yeah, you did.
A wrestling bump. No other
Right.
kind of.
I don't know. Where was I when that happened?
Yes, because Tanner does math.
Oh, God.
No.
That won't be edited out.
But yeah. Bryan Danielson coming out to a Rise of the Valkyries weird remix. Granted, I know Europe is like, I think Justin and I talked about this. Europe is like notoriously stingy for like their music rights, so I get it. But God, I really wish Tony Khan could have got the rights to Final Countdown because it would have been but it would have been Chef's Kiss.
But Daniel Bryan came back, and he was the actual returning babyface. So he aligned himself to at least to help scare off the elite, to run them with their tail between their legs, and it seemed like it was too good to be true. All the gifts that we were given during this show, it's just like every match was a banger. Every match went as long as it needed to be. We were given so many different surprises and guests. I can't think of a time. I've only been wrestling since 2015. I can't think of a more exciting, just top to bottom, just packed show I have ever seen.
There hasn't been. I mean, I'm not even going to say this as somebody that has watched every wrestling event that's ever happened in North America. You'd be hard pressed to find a top to bottom show with this much fan satisfaction coming out of it than this show. I would say the best show in North American wrestling history. I don't know if it's close. I don't know what number 2 would be. Maybe Money in the Bank 2011. Maybe Extreme Rules 2012. I don't know what's close. But as far as top to bottom shows, I mean, this show, in-ring perspective, storyline perspective, debut, surprise perspective, fan reaction perspective, I don't think it has been topped. I think this is now the new pinnacle of professional wrestling shows in North America.
Yeah.
Tanner said
what Tanner said, even though he didn't drop WrestleMania 17, which kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. I get it. You probably weren't watching it.
I have seen WrestleMania 17. I think the 2 shows I mentioned are better than it.
Another reason why you're wrong.
Save the counterpoint for later. We can talk about that.
But again, I had a blast. This whole show was fantastic. It was great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I could not. I came into it with high expectations. I thought, I was like, okay, Punk's coming back. Even if the Punk Darby match is just okay, it's going to be really cool to see Punk wrestle again. But every match exceeded my expectations. The Punk match was great. Main event was great. Adam Cole coming was great. Bryan Danielson coming back was great. And especially, I don't know if y'all have had the chance to read any of their media scrum comments, but Bryan Danielson was he said in the media scrum, where Punk was oh, I'm here to put over the young guys. Bryan Danielson said, I'm here to fucking kick heads in. He's I'm here to beat some young Punk asses.
And I will say, that one fucking, that knee, is it called the Dragon Kick? What is that called? That one knee he threw?
Well, it's in the WWE is called the Knee Plus, which is a play on words with the B plus player that he is, but it's actually called the Busaku knee.
Whatever he's fucking calling it now, when he fucking hit that, I forgot who he hit it on, but oh my god, it
killed
looked
that person.
fucking tastic. It was great.
Was it one of the Bucks that he hit it on?
I think it was
I really
Nick
don't
Jackson.
remember.
Yeah.
We were all screaming.
Yeah,
we were all
blacked
fucking
out.
yelling. Look, I forgot to chug another drink after Bryan Danielson's debut. I was still reeling off of Adam Cole's debut.
I mean,
I got
literally moments apart.
Literally, the only debut that didn't happen that I thought would happen was goddamn Bray Wyatt. I know that. I mean, if he is coming, obviously they'll save him now because goddamn, they had a lot of surprises tonight. Legit. I love this fucking company
Adam
so
Cole,
much.
Bryan
Wrestling, surprises are great. Say what you will about Paul Heyman. I mean, granted, he couldn't pay people for shit, but he did fucking book surprises. He has nothing to do with AEW. I don't know why I brought that up. I'm just bringing it up because of reasons.
Just in comparison, what when someone it was good at their job can manage, and I feel like this is as best as it's ever been, and I'm really excited Colt Winslow got to watch this with us tonight.
Yes,
I'm also a little
100%.
Y'all kind of peaked in a way.
This was fucking. Y'all were a part of history, literally.
I do not know if you will ever see a top to bottom show. You'll probably see better matches eventually,
yeah.
But I don't know if you will ever see a top to bottom show. I mean, just
I must bid you goodbye and good night.
I mean, that crowd just goes ape shit for Bryan Danielson, and that's 90 seconds after Adam Cole comes out.
Yeah,
loud, people couldn't hear his new entrance.
Yeah, it took me probably till after the show went off, I was like, oh, that was a remix.
Like I was off a little bit, but I was like, you know, like armchair quarterback in here, but I was just like, oh, you know, like fucking Adam Cole come out and like kick somebody's head off, and then Daniel Bryan will come out and kick somebody's head off. Well, I mean, people got their heads kicked off, but it didn't happen exactly how I thought it would. But it kind of happened a little bit. It was back-to-back surprises, and it was fantastic.
I honestly expected Danielson to align himself with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia.
Really?
I did because I thought Punk Darby was going to main event, and I thought that was going to be the big thing. I did not think Adam Cole was coming out tonight. So like AEW is going.
So glad I was right.
AEW is going into their biggest stretch of shows ever with Arthur Ashe, the Moxley Cincinnati show. They're in Rochester in a couple of weeks. Full Gear is the day of my wedding. Tony Khan, you motherfucker.
Tanner's gonna have like on his phone as he's taking his vows.
It's like, oh, Riley, I love. But yeah, and it's. I mean it is the best time to be a wrestling fan.
In a long time.
Because the indies are getting a resurgence, especially with, with WWE releasing all these talents. Like, the indies is kind of getting an influx of some of their old talents again.
Replenish.
AEW is playing ball with everybody besides WWE, who doesn't want to play ball with nobody.
Fucking up, Vince.
WWE doesn't even like working among. You're exactly right, Pat. Like, NXT and WWE has no fucking synergy between each other. Like, it's two totally different worlds. Where AEW, on the other hand, is like, oh, yeah, we'll have New Japan wrestlers come on and Impact wrestlers come on, and we'll send our AEW wrestlers to New Japan and Impact and all that stuff. It's just, like, a very exciting time, and I'm very interested to see how AEW continues to keep the momentum, because they have kind of blown their load in the last 3 weeks.
That's the thing, like...
How do they keep it up?
I think they can.
I think they can too. I'm interested to see how they do it though, because you've had Punk, you've had Cole, you've had Danielson, you've had Soho. They allegedly still have people in the fucking chamber. I mean, Chris Hero has not been seen in a while.
Yeah,
he can come out.
Chris Hero could come out at any time.
Like I don't remember the source. It was an interview that Tony Khan did with somebody, but he said he was just like, look, y'all, like, I'm just gonna say, like, we got some surprises for at least the next 4 to 6 months. Like, I'm bringing new people in. It's going to be great. And I really hate the argument about, AEW is just, a bunch of ex-fucking WWE people. Look, as someone who fucking grew up during the goddamn Monday Night Wars, people were flip-flopping left and goddamn right. And you know what? It was awesome. Well, it was awesome.
Well, also calling somebody like Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, even though they have been and had very successful WWE careers, they're not WWE guys.
Yes.
They made their names on the independent circuit.
Exactly.
It's not like Tony Khan's out here poaching the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
Even though I think that'd be kind of cool. Those are the WWE guys. But Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, CM Punk.
Well established before they even thought about WWE.
I mean,
and then when they got to WWE, they had a fight for what little they got.
Exactly. And, like, talk about the people that Tony Khan has poached. Unquote, poached. He hasn't poached anybody because he's never got a talent under contract from WWE. Like, Ty Conti. I mean, they treated her like chicken shit on NXT, and Tony Khan has made that into. And to be fair to Ty Conti, has really come into her own.
She has. She's gotten really good.
She's gotten really good. And Tony Khan has given her the opportunity and has made chicken salad after. If you would have watched her NXT career, if she would have quit wrestling after that, would not have shocked me.
Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah,
100%. Or like 2.0, they were on WWE TV in the summer, in May and June.
Like, I'm pretty sure we were just talking about it the other day. Like, and again, forgive me, I might be wrong, but weren't they trying to build Ty Conti in NXT at one point as like the first female member of the Undisputed Era?
Yeah,
I felt like that was supposed to be a thing.
That's true, because she did at one. She was in the women's battle royal at one of the WrestleManias. Or no, she was in the Royal Rumble, maybe representing Brazil, and doing a whole thing. And they were trying to push her do Undisputed Era stuff and all that stuff, but it never really took off. And they just kind of was like, all right, you're going to continue working these 90-second to 3-minute matches on NXT TV as sort of like the filler matches. Yeah. But now, like, I mean, she's gotten a women's title shot, and she's really coming to her own, and she's
gotten
good.
really good.
And, like,
she's really good.
She's kind of been like slowly phased in with the Dark Order, which is one of the biggest acts in AEW.
Yeah. And she's slowly becoming one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So definitely, like, everybody who comes to AEW, like 9.5 times out of 10, they have an entirely new lease on life.
Oh my, yeah. I mean, take Miro for instance, is on the run of his career right now. I mean,
it's great.
Punk does not look like he is dying anymore, which is fantastic.
Shocking, right?
I mean, that's the thing that, like, Adam Cole said in the media scrum, Ruby Soho said in the media scrum, and Bryan Danielson said in the media scrum, is they were like, I don't hate WWE, I don't hate Vince, but everybody here is so happy, and I've known it in my heart that this is where I needed to be. Mm-hmm. And that's where the difference is drawn. I mean, it's not like they're like, I hate WWE, I hate Vince McMahon. Like, no, because they have all had very successful careers because of WWE and have probably made enough money where they never need to work again. Yeah. But it's one of those things where they want to be happy. Like, money does not, when you're doing stuff like they do, working 300 nights out of the year in regular times, you want to be happy doing it. And it doesn't matter if Vince is paying you $2 million a year. If you are getting hurt, or like in Bryan Danielson's case, they kept him on the shelf for 3.5 years when it maybe wasn't necessary. Yeah. Just because some WWE doctors were holding him out. So I mean, it's really like refreshing to see, and especially Tony Khan having the hardcore poster brain. Tony Khan, the originator of the DVDR sleaze thread, fucking phenomenal. I can't believe a billionaire son ever posted on DVDR. But anyways, I mean, Tony Khan has a mark. Tony Khan likes professional wrestling. Yeah. Vince McMahon likes money. Yeah. And that's pretty much what it boils down to.
Well, it's like, and I don't keep going back to him because he's like one of my fucking favorites. But Adam Cole, like Bebe. I said, like Bebe, like I said, I knew he already had a presence in professional wrestling before he made it to the Fed. And when he came over there, I also find it fantastic that he is probably, isn't he the first one who like got out before getting called up to the main roster officially in NXT? Like, he just dipped.
Yeah,
like someone who was like, you knew was going to the fucking main roster if given the opportunity.
I mean, right? Yeah, I mean,
like, I'm not talking. You weren't going to see goddamn Kona Reeves or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, he was like, you know, he has relationships with a lot of the people that are already in this company, and I feel like he just wanted to work with his fucking friends, and I love the fact that he gets a chance to do that.
Well, which is not to say Adam Cole did not have friends in WWE, because him and Kyle O'Reilly go way back. Not at all. But it's just one of those things where, like, people want to be happy at their job.
People want to be happy, yes, exactly.
That's what
it comes down to.
So I think at the end of the day, this was like, as we said before, many times over, this is like our... like a crown jewel for us. This is a fantastic show.
7 out of 10.
Too much water. Too many trumpets. But an all-time show, a historic moment. But to wrap this up, let's go around and name like your favorite match, and then we'll tie it off.
Favorite match, real quick, probably be Lucha Bros, Young Bucks.
All right, Colt.
Favorite match, Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, but weirdly enough, the Jericho match was also very good, so it's a very close second.
Yep.
Like I said, I think the Lucha Bros Bucks match is probably my match of the year, which I would not have guessed going into this pay-per-view. But I think my second match, probably Punk Darby, just because I did not expect Punk to go that hard. I did not expect him to bump or really even move the way he did, but he looked better in the ring than he did in 2013, 2014 easily. So,
Wenzel,
it'd have to be Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks.
Yep. Oh, nice. Cannon.
Man, I don't mean to repeat a lot of others here, but match of the night for me, 100% without a doubt, is Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. But I am going to give an honorable mention to Statlander and Britt Baker. I thought their match was fucking fantastic.
I was gonna say-
I thought that was a great fucking match.
Because I would say, like, my favorite match is Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks, but my number 2, just like match is Britt Baker and Kris.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
oh yeah, that was a
yeah.
really good fucking. That was really good.
And
Really
like,
good.
I really love Miro and Kingston.
Yeah,
There was not a
I'm
bad match on this card.
I'm
No,
yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, I want to say this. There was not a bad fucking match anywhere. And I'm saying that as a person that missed one whole match that I wasn't even trying to miss. It just happened that way. That's just how my bladder worked.
So we're definitely all struggling, but hopefully this episode wasn't a struggle for y'all to get through, because we had a great time talking about wrestling, and I'm glad we had just finally had another platform to talk about it. So
This is our first wrestling show since Pat and I talked about WrestleMania. NXT New Orleans, whichever year that was.
Do you know how?
WrestleMania 34? It's surely like the first dedicated wrestling content.
Yeah.
I was about-
just kind of popping up here and there.
I was about to say, do you know how long I've been waiting to do a completely dedicated wrestling show? I have had a fucking blast tonight. I'm sorry it's late, and again,
You're
I'm the
punishing
only one that
yourself.
has to do shit in the morning.
You're punishing yourself.
It's fine. I'm just saying I've had a good time. That's all I wanted to say. I've had a great time
So
watching it and talking about it.
So look forward to the future. We might have some more wrestling content for you. But thank you all so much for listening. You can follow us wherever podcasts are found: SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, all those places. Be sure to follow us, like, rate, subscribe, follow us on our socials. You can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter and Instagram, and Letterboxd at John Lost His Name, Art on Facebook at John Lost His Name, Art.
My name is Jonathan. You can follow me on Twitter at JONIBOI24 and John Notes on 12 on the Letterboxd.
My name's Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00.
You can follow me on Twitter at Tanner1495. I'm also here representing The Late Takes. You can follow The Late Takes on Twitter at The Late Takes. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all your favorite RSS feed catchers. So check us out.
I'm Winsley. You can follow. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Winsy Wilkin. You can follow me on Art Instagram at World of Winsy.
And I have been That Cannon Guy. You can find me at That Cannon Guy on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And I'm also, as you may already know, a part of the Cajun Greatness podcast, along with myself, Patrick, Jonathan, and Justin, who is not here with us. We miss you, buddy. We're glad you watched the show with us. But yeah, check out that show if you'd like to listen to people yell about Nicolas Cage movies sometimes and other things occasionally.
Yeah, it's a great hit rate of 40% Cage, 6% bullshit. But thank you all so much for listening. Have a great night. We'll talk to you all.
Nice.